.294 on the year, making the transition to second base this year, and he takes a strike.
I like this player, Skip Schumacher. He's a tough-nosed kid. He's got some pop, which always scares a pitcher when you're beginning the game and a leadoff hitter has enough to take you deep.
3 home runs this year, and he grounds one to Castillo, who's left, spins, and throws for the first out. So Schumacher has grounded out to open the proceedings. And now Mark DeRosa, the former University of Pennsylvania quarterback, now 34 years old, acquired from the Indians in late June. Quickly went on the disabled list with a wrist injury. But how about this? 19 games played, 7 home runs in only 15 hits for DeRosa. 20 home runs now for the year. And a guy who can play virtually anywhere for you, although it seems as though he has found a home with the Cardinals at third base.
And interesting, right? Because to me, he's more of a contact hitter. Never been a big home run hitter, but he's become one this year.
Gets under this one to shallow left. Cora out and Sheffield in, and Gary will make the call and put it away for the second out.
Well, the Cardinals had to make the move, and I know the big guy is coming up right now, but I'll say it real quick. But Khalil Green has just had all kinds of problems, and they've had to find another infielder, and DeRosa was the perfect match.
So here's Pujols, who is in a rare slump right now. Albert is 0 for his last 12, and on the recently completed homestand for the Cardinals, he went just 5 for 27. That's a 185 average with 1 RBI, which generally means somebody's going to pay.
You're right.
Albert still leading the National League in home runs with 34, 2 more than Mark Reynolds. Second in RBIs with 92, 1 behind Prince Fielder.
And you wonder if all that Triple Crown talk kind of got into his head a little bit.
Now 9th in the league in batting at 314, and Santana quickly ahead of him 0-2.
You know what's interesting? The first time the Cardinals were here, his first batting practice, he put on display hitting the ball in the upper tank, and did not have a good series in that series against the Mets.
In the air to center field. Pagan is right there waiting for it. A very strong first inning for Johan Santana as he sets down the Cardinals on 7 pitches. They go 1-2-3. Mets bat against Pinheiro when we come back. Here he's now in the top 5 of the league in triples, and he's only had 128 at bats. Luis Castillo staying hot. Gary Sheffield, second game back in the starting lineup, off the disabled list. Alex Cora hot with the bat right now, but the Mets have done very little the last few times they faced Joel Pinheiro.
Well, he's been unbelievable this season. He's gone part of the season where he went 33 2/3 innings without walks from batters. Talked to Dave Duncan about Pinheiro and how he has changed. And earlier in his career, he wanted to strike out people. Duncan says he loves when he pitches a game and doesn't strike out a batter.
As He's only had 1 strikeout in 17 innings against the Mets this year. Bounce toward the hole and a base hit from Pagan to lead off the bottom of the first. Well, with Pinheiro, everything's on the ground, and that ground ball found a hole.
Well, the fact that he's a potential drag bunter, Pagan, you can see right there at third base. Had to play in. He's playing back. He makes that play.
You know, one thing I noticed, I don't know if you, very rarely here at Citi Field does the ball bounce that hard in front of the plate. Very interesting as that bounced over the edge of the third baseman.
Now Luis Castillo. Castillo was bunting in the first inning last night with the Mets down by 3. It's a pretty good bet he'll be bunting here. And Pagan back to the bag. Louis hitting at .296. Taking a long look down at Razor shots. I asked Jerry Manuel about that first inning bunt last night. He said, Louis was bunting for a hit, he felt, and he said it's a part of his game, and I'm not going to take that away from him.
Rosa is just breathing down the throat of Castillo at third base, and you've been with Louis very adept at just slapping that ball right by him, much like Pagan did.
That's a good play, especially 1-0.
Well, look at the shortstop too, Ron. Double play depth. He's up the middle. That's a huge hole.
You're probably going to get a pitch away from Pinheiro once the ground ball sent Pagan hit and run.
Almost impossible to steal against. There has not been a stolen base against him all year. In fact, he hasn't allowed a steal since August 11th of last year.
Well, let's face it, guys. The traditional way of going against Pinheiro is not working. Change it up a little bit. 3-0 in his career against the Mets.
And 2 of those victories this year. Castillo gets the bunt down, a beautiful one, and DeRosa makes the play to Pujols. Moving Pagan to second. Sacrifice goes 5-3.
Well, after 2 batters, we're finally going to do your 4th defense for the Cardinals. We've got the all-star Pujols, Gold Glover at first base. And also, most leagues, that's a Gold Glover in 2008. You're not laughing because they're Gold Gloves, are you?
I'm laughing because it's been he's been a little delayed tonight.
It was a miserable drive on the LIV. And boy.
Here's David Wright, 4th in the National League with his .321 batting average. Looking to pick up Pagan from second with 1 out. And Wright goes the other way. Pagan got a late start. Ludwig gets it on a hop, and Pagan will have to hold it third, and Wright just barely dives back into the bag. I'm not sure what Pagan was thinking. That was a base hit all the way. He should have scored, but he held up, and again, Pagan, as he was last night, a little tentative on the bases.
Well, that ball had enough air in it to get over the infielders' heads. There was no question it was out in the outfield and shallow. That's just not knowing where your right fielder is, and poor judgment. 2 days in a row. And then David, I don't know what he was thinking, but he almost got tagged out.
So first and third and 1 out. Mets already have as many hits tonight as they had in 9 innings against Pinheiro the last time they faced him. Now trying to take advantage with Sheffield. Gary 1 for 6 is coming off the disabled list. A double last night. He takes a strike.
I would like to see Sheffield go the other way against right-handers, Ron. It looks like Gary's just been pulling too much, looking for that ball middle in, and he can go that way. And they leave him that hole right there.
I agree, Keith. I think he feels so much responsibility in this lineup to be the power guy. Sometimes it takes away from his RBI potential.
Looking to get the ground ball, throws the sinker low, and it's 1-1. Gary grounded into a key double play last night as the Mets were trying to come back. And you see he has been a predominant pull hitter.
You have to be very careful if you're on the bases here with Molina catching. He will throw to third, he will throw to first, and stay a little closer to the bag after the pitch has been delivered.
And he can throw you out and try to steal.
Sheffield bounces one slowly. DeRosa gets the out at second. Schumacher to first, and Pinheiro gets out of the inning with the 5-4-3 double play. Mets are turned aside in the first, no score. on 7 pitches in the top of the inning. Joel Pinheiro threw only 8 pitches in the bottom of the inning and worked out of a first and third jam by getting the ground ball double play. And so we start the second with no score, and Matt Holliday will lead off against Santana. Holliday 10 games as a Cardinal, hitting .541. He hit in each of the first 9 games before taking it over on Sunday. The first Cardinal to hit safely in his first 9 games as a Cardinal since Charlie Smith in 1966.
Deep in the box.
By the way, you know who the Cardinals got Charlie Smith from, don't you?
No.
The Mets. Charlie was the Mets' third baseman in 64 and 65.
That's right.
Hit 20 home runs in 64.
He was a power guy, couldn't field. Struck out a lot.
Yep, low batting average, 2-1. And then the Mets the next year, after Charlie Smith played for them in 64 and 65, they traded him to the Cardinals for Ken Boyer. Foul back 2-2, and Boyer was done.
Yes.
Played for the Mets in 67.
And he traded Kenny. There's a big leg kick like Darryl Strawberry.
That almost is.
Watch the hands go straight back.
Yeah.
And that's that take back. No wasted motion.
It's almost like a pitching. It's almost like a pitcher how high his leg comes up.
You know that leg kick reminds me of? Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, that's right. Bobby Bo.
Ryan Ludwig, the National League Player of the Month for July, standing on deck. Then Yadier Molina in the second. And Holliday swings and misses at the changeup. And Santana has his first strikeout of the night. One away.
Santana doing it again, pounding up, pounding in with the fastball, and then the changeup away when he wants to put him away. You'll see a lot of pitchers that they go right to their best weapon early in the count. Not Santana. He would make sure that he establishes the fastball to set up the changeup. Beautiful pitch.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Ryan Ludwig hit .340 in the month of July, and he hits one in the air to left field, chasing Sheffield back, going back to the track at the wall. It's out of here. Ryan Ludwig with his 18th home run of the year. And the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead.
Boy, oh boy. First ball, fastball hitting right there.
Well, Ludwig, who was really struggling the last time the Mets saw the Cardinals in June, has really turned up his season. And he hits his 18th home run to put the Cardinals in front.
Well, he just first pitch from Santana. Johan left it out over the plate a little bit and up, and that's off the sponge check there.
They have some hitters that have been coming in this ballpark all season long that have made this ballpark look small. Reynolds, of course, we saw recently in Ludwig. Man.
Toward the hole, Cora with Molina jogging to first as the easy out, 2 away.
Is something wrong with Molina?
Nothing's wrong with Molina. There's been an entire flare-up happen. One of the, I think your former teammate Al Roboski was on Molina for not running out ground balls, and Russa and Roboski got into it. Russa saying that this is my catcher. He catches every day. I have told him that to try to save some of that energy on automatic outs.
Well, but that's not an automatic out. That's a ball on the hole.
I agree. I'm giving it a little historical perspective. Well, not saying I agree with it.
Rules for one, and not for the group. That's always runs into trouble.
Rick Ankiel hitting just .237. It's been a lost year for Ankiel. He's shown some signs of life the last couple of weeks, but it's been a big step backward for him this year. Continues to play stellar defense, though, in center field.
He just is in that real power mode, it seems, all the time. Has that big swing, almost like Fernando Tatis this season.
He's a low ball hitter. He has trouble with pitches upstairs.
I think he has problems, Keith, with the real good fastball. So that's why, you know, the slider's a good pitch to him, but at the changeup, I don't think is a great pitch from Santana to Ankiel. Two and
2 to Ankiel. And he struck him out with a changeup. Santana gets Ankiel for his second strikeout of the inning, but in between, Ryan Ludwig launches his 18th home run of the year off the facing of the second deck in left field. Ludwig's home run gives the Cardinals a 1-0 lead. MLB.com at Bat 2009 featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Mets.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase. Daniel Murphy leads off the home second. Daniel's hit in 4 straight games, hitting at .248. Slugged his 7th home run of the year up in the Pepsi porch last night. And goes the other way. Foul. Broke his bat. 1-1 to Murphy.
You know what's interesting, Keith, is that so many bats shatter now. You see this one go towards the first baseman. So many bats are shattered that the bat boys sit with 2 bats. 1 or 2 bats of the player, so when he shatters it, they can get it out to him quicker. You always have to go back to the bench to get another one, right?
They changed that rule a few years ago because they felt that the game was being slowed down too much with all the broken bats. Grounded to the right side. Schumacher can't get it. Looks like he dove a little too far. And Murphy has himself a leadoff hit.
Well, you're right. He overplayed the ball. No, he didn't. He just got under his glove.
You know, sometimes what happens for these infielders is they are in between. They don't know if they're going to be able to get it on the run or have to time. And that one was, like you said, in between. Did not get low enough for that baseball.
Well, the Mets have 3 hits. That's 1 more than they had against Pinheiro last time around. Second time in a row they've had leadoff hit. Now Frank Core. And Jeff takes a fastball for a strike. Frank Core playing his 21st game as a Met. He trimmed up the beard today. He was very proud. He had it professionally done. Not sure if that was at his wife's behest or
yeah, I was wondering if their significant others are having as much fun with this beard to 500 push that the Mets are doing.
Crack to right center field. Over toward the gap goes Ludwig to make the running grab. And Murphy has to retreat to first base.
Boy, it really helps that he was left-hander on this play, Keith. Made it a little easier.
Well, he got a terrific jump on. And Ludwig's not known for his defense. He doesn't cover a lot of ground out there. He's not quick. But, you know, you can make up for a lack of speed with good jumps off the bat.
And remember, in this ballpark, from Ryan Church, who started the first home game, right fielders tend to play a little more towards right center, cutting down that gap.
So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Alex Cora, who's riding a 6-game hitting streak right now. Alex at .254 for the year.
Interesting, the outfield defense with the Cardinals. We've seen of Cora playing defensively, the outfield playing him very shallow. in left field. But the Cardinals playing deep in the outfield here.
Much deeper than most teams have played them.
It's Dave McKay.
Good man.
Yes.
Dave McKay at one time became the most famous batting practice pitcher in history.
That's right, from McGuire, right? In Fenway Park?
Well, no, every day in St. Louis.
Right, I'm sorry.
When they were on the road, McGuire would come to town and be 10,000, 20,000 people out for batting practice.
I was thinking of that display in the home run derby in Fenway Park. You're right.
That too. Became the biggest game in town in St. Louis. Murphy runs, hit and run play, but Cora fouls it off.
You know, I was thinking, we're thinking about the Pagan play in the first inning, and you know that's a run he should score. But to leave that there, Murphy's on first base. Okay, this is something you can think about if you're a runner. You look around at the outfield, you see how deep they're playing. But one of the most important things for Murphy is to know the ball is hit sharply in the hole between first and second. Ludwig would have to feel that on his backhand. He's left-handed, would make a tougher throw to third. Anything in that hole, he proceeds to third base. Those are the things that you can think about as a runner before they happen.
Left center field, cutting in, Holiday kicks it around, and Murphy's safe at second base. Well, if Holiday's playing more shallow, he makes that catch, but as deep as he was, he couldn't.
Well, absolutely. And now Holiday, again, is not known for his defense. So the corner outfield positions defensively are a little problematic for the Cardinals, but boy, they can hit. And Murph here, it's a play where you got to read, it's in front of you. Nicely done. You see so many guys going back and forth, there's no need to go back and forth. Just get out there in that position, read the play, go back to first or go to the advancing base.
So for the second straight inning, the Mets have a couple of hits off Pinheiro. Now Omir Santos, 3 hits in his last 5 at bats, hitting a .268 on the year. And he gets hit by the pitch, and now the bases are loaded. 5th batter that Pinheiro has hit this year, and Joel Pinheiro clearly not as sharp as the Mets have seen him earlier this year.
Well, that looked to get Santos right over the knee.
Oh, got him on the quad.
That's like getting a Charlie horse for you people at home. That is very painful.
So a chance for Santana with the bases loaded and 1 out. It's been a rough year at the plate for Johan. He has just 3 hits and 1 run batted in, hitting under 100.
But you know what? He plays once every 5th day, and he's a threat up there. He takes a good, healthy cut. He's not an easy out.
Well, the Mets have already hit a couple of balls in the air against Pinheiro, something they had trouble doing the last few times they faced him. Now he's hit a batter and given the Mets a chance here in the bottom of the second, down 1-0. He got a double play grinder to get out of the first inning. Now facing Santana, and he takes ball 1 with a sinker.
You can see the corners are in because there is 1 out. It's potential for a squeeze. You don't want to invite, if you play back at the corners, you're inviting a squeeze play here in an easy run.
You like the squeeze with the bases loaded?
I don't, but you got to play. I'm talking purely from a defensive infield position. Playing the defense on the corners here, you got to play in. You have to respect it.
So you take the play away by playing in.
Yes.
I don't like it because the pitcher, 1, is a good fielder, 2, it's a force at home.
Well, that's exactly right. I'm just going to ask you, as a pitcher and a good fielding one, it just makes your job so much easier on a squeeze to get that out at home. Right?
Well, yeah, and I hope he's wanting to tell you the truth. Murphy's on third base, does not have great speed. That's a layup out.
Of course, on the other side, if you don't squeeze, then you're risking the double play. Santana takes it at the knees, and now Pinheiro's ahead of him 1-2. What's the old saying? If you think you might hit it in double play, make sure you strike out.
That's right.
Well, they got to move back now in the infield, and Pujols is yet to move back. He's yapping away with Santos, and there's 2 strikes on the hitter.
And Lugo is playing a little too close to Cora at second base. Little hole there.
I'm sorry, Ron. I don't understand this infield positioning. Play back for 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. I don't understand it.
try to hang in there against Pinheiro. 1-2 the count. And he hits it in the air to left center field. Hit well. Back toward the gap goes Ankiel. He won't get it. It's up against the wall. Murphy is in. Cora is in. Santos stops at third. A 2-run double for Johan Santana. And the Mets lead it 2-1.
Two strikes, not a good sinker ball right there, and Santana going right with it. And again, lots of pressure on the center fielder here with the two corner outfielders for the Cardinals. Now that ball's up in the gap. Let's watch the rear runner here and see what he's up to. Second and third are going to score easy.
Santos looks one, but he got a bad jump. Second, he's running very gingerly after being hit by the pitch.
Infield most of the way in. Pagan lifts it to left. That should get Santos in. Holiday drifting back, having trouble with it, and grabs it. Santos walks on in, and the Mets lead it 3-1. Sacrifice fly for Pagan. His 14th run batted in. Boy, Holiday really struggled on that fly ball.
Holiday is not a good fielder. I mean, as simple as that. And they've gone from not having a great offense to now a good offense, but their defense with Colby Rasmussen and Ankiel in there was outstanding in the outfield. It's going to be less than that now.
So 3 runs are in. Mets having the best inning they've had in memory against Joel Pinheiro. Now Castillo, who sacrificed his first time with Santana at second, shoots one foul.
And again, we're pretty much the same kind of defense on the outfield with Castillo. Holiday playing deep and left.
But they're still talking about the base running play in the first inning. Sandy Alomar talking to Angel Pagan. 1-1 to Castillo.
Pitch to Rancho IOTV. Sometimes you can eat your spot, but Santana has an extreme uppercut anyways, and he doesn't usually hit the ball on the ground, and he did a nice job hitting the ball the other way.
And maybe that one was less about location and more about movement.
Yeah. Had a kind of a flat movement, not any sink on it.
Well, you're looking at the elevation of the pitch. He wants that down here.
He wants to start it there and end up
sink it. Yeah, didn't sink.
Pinheiro ahead on Castillo, 1-2. Bounced over the mound. Tough play for Schumacher, hustling in. Just got him at first base. Bill Miller with the call. The inning is over, but a big one for the Mets against their nemesis Pinheiro. Bases loaded. Santana with his first career 2 RBI game. Gets him on one swing of the bat. The 2-run double from Santana. stake himself to a 3-1 lead. First time in his career he's had more than 1 RBI in a game.
Isn't it amazing when you watch a star pitcher play that the level of his team's play rises with his excellence? It's just it's beautiful to watch from up his third deck.
Here's Julio Lugo, acquired from the Red Sox on the 22nd of July. The Red Sox had designated him for assignment. They were ready for him to go away one way or another, but by agreeing to pay $18 million on his contract as he rips one to left field for a base hit that gets by Sheffield in the wall, and Lugo will wind up at second base. By paying the $18 million of his contract, the Red Sox also got a player out of it. They got Chris Duncan.
Duncan, who was well, this Castillo play, we all thought he was safe. Let's see what you guys think at home. Not even close. Safe.
We have seen more bad calls on the bases this year than I can ever remember.
Yep. Lugo now has 14 hits with these Cardinals, 7 of them for extra bases.
And the obvious bunt situation here with Pinheiro at the plate. You see the infield. Murph can probably be a little more aggressive in, and Roger Ramjet out there. He'll come in.
Very good. And Pinheiro gets it down, and Murph will have to go to first with it. 3-4 on the sacrifice. Ramjet to Castillo.
Nice bunt, by the way, Ronnie.
Beautiful. Perfect.
So Lugo at third with 1 out. Your umpiring crew tonight, Jim Joyce and his very loud voice behind home plate. Bill Mueller at first. Harold Cousins is the crew chief. He's at second. And Chad Fairchild, a vacation replacement umpire at third.
And you might add the home plate umpire, Jim Joyce, one of the best umpires in the league. And interesting how the Mets are playing defensively. The right side of the infield is halfway.
Got a 2-run lead.
Even Horace halfway. Interesting.
Schumacher grounded out his first time up, and he breaks his bat and fouls it off the left side. Do you agree with that with a 2-run lead?
I like the infield bat. Get him out.
I like the out.
In and out. Worst that happens is 3-2.
I mean, you've got some big hitters behind Schumacher. If you allow him to not only get the run in but reach safely, now you got home run hitters in DeRosa and Pujols and Holiday and Ludwig.
Agreed. Schumacher's 2 for 7 off Santana, so he has, a history of getting a couple of hits.
Little fisted shot, and Santana can't catch it. Schumacher, though, didn't run, so Wright has time to make the play to first for the out. Huge mistake by Schumacher, who never ran. Santana couldn't catch it on the fly, but Wright had enough time to throw him out. A 1-5-3 put out, and the runner holds at third.
Well, the runner can't advance here. Nice effort. I don't know if Schumacher saw where the ball was.
He didn't.
That could be that's the only explanation.
But if you make contact, you at least have to start to feel for first base. Oh, he thought he fouled it straight back.
And that's where your on-deck circle guys got to tell you. Someone's got to scream run.
Well, that's a big break for the Mets. Santana, after diving for that ball, taking a moment behind the mound.
Got sawed off twice in a row. And we've said it before, one thing Santana does when he's in trouble, he pounds in. Let those guys look at the computers. That's Santana, how he pitches.
He's got a feel for the game, doesn't he?
So now a chance to get through the inning with a runner at third and 2 out. Here's DeRosa, and he takes a changeup for a strike. DeRosa flied to left his first time up. Mark DeRosa, who went to Bergen Catholic in Oradell, New Jersey. He's a Jersey guy through and through. Big Bon Jovi fan.
Oh, you can't be both. You got to be a Bon Jovi or Springsteen. One or the other.
Pulled down the left field line, a foul ball.
I didn't know that, but our Kevin Burkhardt on one of those long playing trips, I asked him that. He said, "Well, you can't be both."
Well, Kevin's a Jersey guy.
Yeah, and he's a Bon Jovi fan.
Kind of like Mets Yankees.
Yeah, there you go.
Lugo in third with 2 out. 3-1 New York, third inning. And DeRosa down swinging at the changeup, and Santana extricates himself from the jam. Third strikeout for Johan. Mets lead 3-1. Inside Citi Field, brought to you by the NYC Union Carpenters and Contractors. Here's Kevin Burkhardt.
Well, Garrett, one thing about Citi Field is that they're really not even done building it. There's actually been some additions, and I think the cool thing about it is they're listening to the fans. Right behind me in the promenade section, there's a huge food court, a lot of concessions, but when you're back there, it's really the only place in the ballpark where you're blocked off. So what they've done is they've added actually a huge HD TV. It's not working yet. They tell me by the next homestand it'll be on. So the people back there eating and waiting in line can see the game. It's kind of what they have in center field. That's the beauty of waiting in line in center field. You don't mind because you can watch the game. They've actually installed another scoreboard down the right field line here at Citi Field. It's brand new. Same thing. They hope to have it up and running by the next homestand. And that's for all the people that sit in left field. So now, pretty much anywhere in the ballpark you sit or where you're in line and eating, you can always watch the game. And Gary, one other thing to answer your question. I mean, imagine walking down the street and somebody's wearing a Yankee hat and a Met shirt. Come on. I mean, you can't have a Bon Jovi and a Bruce Tate. You get one or the other.
David Wright lifts one to right field for Ryan Ludwig to handle. Well, Kevin, if you're still on the mic, which I hope you are, the key question I have about the new TV screens they're putting in the one in center field, sound up or sound down?
The sound on the big, like in center, the sound on the big screen is up, but there's enough little TVs around where you can kind of pick up the sound just by walking. I'm assuming it'll be the same back here. There's a lot of little TVs, but now it's big enough so wherever you are, you can watch. So I think there's enough sound to pick it up. The big ones don't have the sound.
So we need to be careful, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much all over the park. I hear you guys talking. So
we'll try not to say anything about you.
In between innings, Kev?
Luckily for you, no.
Sheffield grounded into a double play his first time up. One and one to Sheffield with Murphy on deck. That's got 3 in the second off Pinheiro after squandering a scoring chance in the first inning. Before the game tonight, Jerry Manuel was asked about the Mets' ongoing problems hitting sinker balls. They had the problem the other night against John Garland, who threw the complete game 6-hitter. And he said something that I found very interesting. Sheffield hits one toward the middle, and Schumacher will have no play. It's an infield hit for Sheffield. And the Mets have their 6th hit against Pinheiro. The Mets have a curveball machine that they've been using since spring training. As you look at Schumacher making that backhand stop, but nowhere to go with it. They have those curveball drills where they hit 80 in a row to the opposite field. Well, Jerry said that they have worked on changing the curveball machine into a sinker machine. That today was the test run. Now, I didn't get word as to whether they were actually able to get it up and running, throwing sinkers.
Did they turn the machine upside down?
Well, maybe that's what worked. But anyway, they've got 6 hits now in 2 1/3 innings against Pinheiro, and I just wonder whether that's had an impact. The curveball machine becoming a sinker machine.
I would much rather find a BP pitcher that was live arm than throwing a sinker. Where's Tony Ferrara when you need him? Who's that? The coach. He was our BP pitcher in the 80s. He threw a wicked sinker.
He used to get Keith so angry because you want your batting practice.
So angry.
No, okay, not so angry. Pardon me, be more angry. You want your batting practice pitch to be able to throw on both sides of the plate, but you want the ball to be true. You don't want to have a lot of sink on it because, day in and day out, it's hard to hit off a guy like that. And Tony, every once in a while, will throw a little sinker all off the end of the bat.
Murphy lifts one to center field, and Ankiel ranging back.
Let me expound, Ronnie.
Yeah.
About, I don't want to get Tony give me the phone call.
No. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Tony threw. I always like BP to be relaxed. I didn't want to have it feel like I was hitting in a game situation where I could be loose, relaxed, work the ball around the field. But for Tony, when I was red hot, I didn't mind him because he threw that hard sinker. It really helped me. I just worked on staying on it. But when I was in a slump, Tony got me out, and that made me mad.
You don't want the BP guy getting you out. Right. There's Frank Brewer lined out to right his first time up. And Jeff takes off the outside corner.
Very interesting, right? We saw Pinheiro when he threw a shutout. So aggressive in the strike zone, throwing strike after strike. Well, he took one to the midsection, and he's been a lot more careful with his pitches early in the count.
chopper for Lugo. And the flip to Schumacher to end the inning. So we're through 3. The Mets with a 3-1 lead. Time to check in with Matt Cerrone from MetsBlog.com at the Verizon studio for a quick update on what the fans are thinking.
For a minute.
I thought we were already in San Diego.
I'm a big fan of the jet ski, I'll tell you that.
Part of the batting order for Santana in the 4th. Pujols, Holiday, and Ludwig. It has become quite a murderer's row now. Pujols flied out his first trip. Now 0 for his last 13. Probably had as bad a swing as I've ever seen Pujols take when he flied out in that first inning. Look at Pujols' first at bat.
Well, good job by Santana getting ahead with that changeup like he did miss that bat. Throws another one right on the corner that Pujols didn't like, and then one down in the strike zone that they had to swing at 0-2. But Pujols was very frustrated with that 0-1 call.
Lines one over the head of Castillo for a base hit. Well, so Pujols, after going 0 for 13, breaks that and is aboard to lead off the 4th.
Well, we're telling you he wasn't set up the opposite field. I mean, that's a good little change-up sinker right there.
It's almost like he threw both of his arms at that ball to drive that ball to right field. That's just great hitting.
We've seen a lot of that from him over the years.
So now Holiday, the tying run at the plate, struck out his first time up. The middle, Castillo, nice flip, and they get the out at second. Beautiful play by Louis.
Well, you're darn right. That was a heck of a play, and I don't know what Pujols is doing. He didn't slide.
He must have thought that ball was going through and was already making the turn as though he was going to go to third.
See some errors and judgments here.
You have to slide here.
Come on.
Great play by Louis,
I'll say. That's first and third right there. Santana always appreciates good defense.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Ludwig, who homered his first time up, and hits another one to center field. Back goes Pagan to the track at the wall. Can't get it. Extra base hit. Bouncing away. Vancouver over to play it. Around third, Holiday heading home. Relay by Cora to the plate. Santos can't hit. is Ludwig with a double and an RBI to get the Cardinals within a run. It's now 3-2.
Well, just didn't get there. Ball hit over the head of Pagan, halfway up the wall. Dotted the I in that Nike. And here's Holiday right here. And that's fine. He should have been a little more ready to go. He's not a great runner, but watch this, folks. You have got to slide. He didn't touch home plate.
Oh, you know what I think was happening, Keith? I think he was anticipating contact, just like Frank Core did in the last road trip. Thought there was going to be a collision, and when there wasn't, he just lost where he was.
He was readying his arms to come in high on Santo.
And he got no help from Molina.
Yeah.
Molina's sitting there, with his hands in his back pockets.
Famous slide Holiday ever made. He never touched home plate. That was in that 07 wild card playoff game against San Diego when he scored the winning run. Planted his face in the dirt but never actually touched the plate, and the Rockies won the wild card. So now the tying run at second with one out. Molina grounded to short his first time up. Hits it toward the hole. That's a base hit. Ludwig to third. He's being held by Jose Oquendo, who almost reached down and grabbed him. It's a base hit for Molina, the third hit of the inning for the Cardinals.
Well, that's proper third base coaching right there. And if we see it again, watch the third base coach. He's giving him the wave, but he can also hold him up if Sheffield comes up with it cleanly. If Sheffield bobbles it, he's got momentum going home. Plenty of time to hold him up.
And by the way, one of the best in the business, Jose Oquendo at third base.
Agreed.
So now the tying run at third, the potential go-ahead run at first. Santana getting hit hard here in the fourth inning. Could have been 4 straight hits, but for the great play by Castillo. Now Rick Ankiel, and he pulls one foul, 0-1.
Let's see what ILTV pitch differential is on this one. Yeah, he missed. Wanted that fastball down and in, middle, and Molina, of course, grounded out to that left side of his first at bat, found a hole.
And you kids out there, you saw Molina's eyes right on the ball through contact.
To Ankiel. And a good rip at that fastball, 0-2. Well, Santana has thrown 38 pitches. He's thrown 6 balls. And now the Cardinals are getting up there, and they are just swinging at everything.
They've been aggressive early in the count, the second time through the lineup.
Well, that was a good pitch up and in right there. And Ankiel has not learned to lay off that high fastball. It's not his zone.
Line the other way, a base hit that'll tie up the game. Ludwig in to score the 4th hit of the inning off Santana, and the Cardinals have gotten even at 3. Ahead of the count 0-2, and Santana gives up the opposite field hit to Ankiel.
But he's going to get Dan Worthen out there to have a chat. This is wanted a fastball away. Ronnie got it up, correct?
Sometimes he did, but he wanted to throw it up. But sometimes what happens, Keith, is that you forget once you get a hitter 0-2, he changes into a more defensive hitter. Watch, he plays just pepper with this ball, cuts down on his swing, gets on top of that baseball. That's not a swing you usually see from Ankiel early in the count.
You're right, Ronnie. You want to come up out of the strike zone. They want that ball up in his eyes, see if he go fishing.
The argument is that Ankiel should hit more like that.
Yes,
all the time.
Yes.
So Dan Worthen has set his piece. A very rough inning for Santana. Coming off 7 shutout innings his last time up against the Rockies. Gave up the home run to Ludwig in the second, and now 4 hits have produced 2 runs to tie the game here in the 4th.
And remember, first at bat for Lugo, leadoff double in the 3rd, first pitch fastball. See what Santana offers here.
Santana's thrown a first pitch strike to 15 of the first 16 hitters. And here he goes away with a changeup for ball 1.
pitch there. Took a little more off that changeup. Went from 82 to 80 miles an hour. You know, sometimes your personality gets in the way of how you have to pitch a team. He's such an aggressive person by nature, Santana, that when he gets frustrated and getting hits, he tends to throw in more strikes when he probably should throw less. But
everything off speed to Lugo, and it's 1-2.
That's starting to throw the ball out of the zone.
Well, he burned him the first at bat with that first pitch fastball, and he's not going to get one here. If he's going to get one, it's going to be in off the plate just to show.
Hits it out to left, and Sheffield is there. That's the second out. So 2 out and 2 on. Now the pitcher Pinheiro. You talk about a pitcher who's a natural strike thrower. Santana coming in to the night had the highest percentage of strikes of any pitcher in the National League, 68.4%, and he's even beyond that tonight. 36 of 43 for strikes. Is it hard for a pitcher who's naturally inclined that way to change the game plan?
I think absolutely. I think what the key for him, though, is when he wants to go up in the strike zone, like he did the Castillo, just going to remind himself that it's really hard to throw the ball head high because you spend your entire time in between starts, your entire start trying to keep the ball down. And sometimes when you think you're throwing it head high, it's really just chest high. That's one of the mistakes he made this inning. He doesn't make many when he pitches the game.
Head on Pinheiro now 0-2.
But I think, I think to me, in the last generation, that Greg Maddux did the best. He recognized what the other team was trying to do against him, and he could change the plan B in a heartbeat. That's what Santana's going to have to do here with these Cardinals, aggressive Cardinals.
Barely. He just threw that one by him. Yes. How they do that?
I was thinking Santana took me to the wall for 2 runs. How do I get even? That's a little payback. Just missed with that changeup, 1-2. Strikeout for Santana ends the inning, but the Cardinals get even. RBI hits by Ludwig and Ankiel, and now the game tied at 3. Mets and the Cardinals all tied up at 3. Well, the Mets have gotten to Joel Pinheiro for 3 runs and 6 hits over the first 3 innings. A far cry from their more recent efforts against Pinheiro. Is that just a matter of the Mets adjusting, or is Pinheiro struggling?
I think he's off his game a little bit. The reason I'll tell you that is that the Mets are hitting the ball in the air. You know, Santana's double. They've had a few fly ball outs.
They've hit his sinker with authority.
Yes, they have.
So he hasn't got the bite on his sinker. There's Dave Duncan, your old pitching coach, Ronnie.
Yeah, but you can get some second life when your team comes back and ties it.
Alex Cora singled the other way in front of a sliding Matt Holliday his first time up, and a curveball from Pinheiro to start him. That misses badly. Cora now has a 7-game hitting streak. Maybe see what the Mets have managed against him tonight compared to the last 2 starts. And another curveball, and it's 2-0.
It's like Pinheiro's trying to mix in the overhead curve here.
That tells you more than anything how he feels about his sinker tonight.
Boy, it turns on one. It hits it to right field as Ludwig is there. Lots of room out there. One away. Alex was thinking he got a first home run of the year.
He got under it.
But he was thinking. Here's Santos, who was hit on the 5-man pitch and scored a run in the second inning.
Nice crowd tonight. Beautiful crowd. Beautiful night.
That's been getting 38, 39,000 every night.
This is like a full house here.
Schumacher playing Santos perfectly. And there are 2 away. Tony La Russa has his Cardinals right in the thick of it in the National League Central. 31st season managing the big leagues, White Sox, Oakland, and St. Louis.
A couple of world championships, one with the Athletics in 1989, and of course 2000 and you know what.
Well, here's Santana, who has the biggest hit of the night. A 2-run double in the second inning.
This was the 2 strikes, and that's going with the pitch. And it was ironic that Gary said that Santana's been having trouble with the bat this year, and he delivers a 2 RBI double.
Pinheiro bounces back with a 1-2-3 4th inning. On to the 5th we go. Top of the order for the Cardinals with the game time at 3. Honda by Bud Light and by Rogue's Thriller, a perfect getaway in theaters Friday. Well, I have to say, Jack, our high home cameraman tonight looks awfully good for 75. Jack, you've never looked better. Happy birthday.
And we got to flip those numbers.
At least. He hopes. Skip Schumacher takes ball one from Santana as we start the 5th inning.
I don't know if you noticed this, Keith, but you, Gary, and I, whoever we meet, we tend to be the oldest in this business anyway.
I'm just getting used to it.
You know the thing about that? It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What did Bob Dylan say? Never trust anybody over 30?
Yeah, but he's like almost 70 now. Corner behind the bag. Throws out Schumacher one away. You ever listen to his radio program?
Yeah,
great.
Old-time radio.
It's fabulous. It is unbelievable.
His delivery and the history he gives of all, not only the music and where it comes from, but the musicians that play the music is just fascinating to someone like myself, to all of us.
I think he's brilliant.
Here's Mark DeRosa, who's flying to left and struck out 0 for 2. Thing about DeRosa, from the time he started his career with the Braves, he has always killed the Mets. Lifetime .345 hitter against the Mets. It's this one to center field, chasing Pagan back, and enough room to make the grab, 2 out.
Now, Ronnie, I got to ask you a question. Okay. You've had Pujols up there the first at bat. You fold him with your split finger, which is the equivalent to Santana's changeup.
Yeah.
Your next at bat against him, he takes you to right field on a good pitch. It's a power guy. Are you reluctant to come inside, change it, because he might pull you and take you deep in a close game?
Yeah, no, I think it's just the opposite. I think that you have to say to yourself, even though it's 3-3, that you have to fire a ball inside here to Pujols. You don't have to do it first pitch. He's let him off both times with changeups away. Goes to the fastball away just to change it up. You'd like to see that. He'll fire one in inside. I think he'll probably throw it off the plate to go back to that changeup. Now he's going to stay with the fastball away.
Figuring that he's not going to try and go to right field twice in a row?
No. Well, maybe he's thinking that. I wouldn't think that. I would be reluctant to throw the ball outside. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? He's been in a slump. He's now hitting the ball the right mode just to try to get himself back where he wants to be. Slide it to the right-handed hitter.
And he popped it up behind the plate. Santos coming back for a look, but that's out of play.
And that didn't fool Albert one bit. That was a vicious cut.
How many times a game would you say Santana throws a slider to a right-hand hitter?
Maybe one, maybe two. And he only throws it to guys like a Pujols, a guy that just to change it up, a pitch that he would not normally see. Now he can spot a fastball in, he can throw a fastball away, but he's got to throw it down out of the strike zone. Santos with the call, yeah, fastball in. I love that call. Fire it in there.
A little high with it, and it's 2-2.
So all the sequence of pitches. Okay, now he's got him at least leaning back inside and high. Now he can go change it away, but he wants to throw it in the dirt. He's going to double up in there. Very brave.
Foul.
Notice Santana's fastball on the radar guy. I've been watching this inning. He's been 89-90. It was the highest one he's thrown. So he has not got his fastball. He had it early, but it's really in the 5th now, and he's dropped a couple miles per hour. And that could make a difference.
Change it down.
Good eye, Albert.
3-2 now.
Honestly, got great hitters like this. We saw the hit. Sometimes these guys can get locked in, Gary, at one at bat. One good swing, and they're back to seeing the ball correctly. Change up in.
Down the left field line. Sheffield can't get it. It goes by him to the wall. And Pujols jogs into second base with a 2-out double.
Well, I think Albert's out of his slump.
Well, he'd been 0 for 13 before his single to right in the 4th, and now he has himself his 25th double of the year.
You know, Ron,
so he goes with the changeup. You see Santos says, well, let's throw the changeup, but we want to throw it in. Very dangerous pitch. Ball catches a little bit of the plate. And of course, that's a rocket. I mean, that ball's on Sheffield in a heartbeat. So now he's got a rocket to right, a rocket to left. And like I said, sometimes you can really see great hitters get locked in. Did you ever feel like that, Keith, that you're struggling a little, then you have one good swing and you're like, boy, I'm seeing it again?
It was always the swing that gets you out of the slump is what Albert did. You drove it over in my case, over the shortstop's head into the gap. In Albert's case, obviously over the second baseman, Castillo's head.
7 hits now off Santana. The lead run now at second with 2 out for Matt Holliday, who was robbed of a hit by Castillo's diving play in the 4th inning. 0 for 2 on the night. And Holliday pops one up in foul ground. Murphy over, but that is going to be out of play into the dugout.
When you get to these 3, huh? Pujols, Holliday, and Ludwig.
0-1 to Holliday. Beat him with the fastball upstairs, and it's 0-2.
He wanted to come in, but he had some plate, but he got it out of the strike zone.
For a guy who hits for high average, usually Holliday is pretty much a free swinger, isn't he?
Got off to a good start in Oakland this year. Hit well there the last month, and he's been unconscious since joining the Cardinals. Now the 0-2, and he'll bite up the changeup. 1-2. Ryan Ludwig has already homered and doubled and driven in 2 runs tonight, waiting on deck. Up and in. 2-2. Getting ahead 2 strikes, Santana has run it full to Holliday with Ludwig on deck. Little flare, shallow center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Pujols heads home, and he comes in with the lead run. Matt Holliday with an RBI single, and the Cardinals take the lead 4-3.
Pretty impressive at bat by Holliday there. Josh was behind the count, 0-2. Worked it to 3-2. Got this change up. A little on the end of the bat. Flared in there nicely, but just a good at bat.
Fastball away, came back over the middle of the plate. Not middle, it jammed him. Absolutely.
2 out and nobody on, but 2 great at bats by 2 great hitters. And the Cardinals fashion a run to take the lead. Now Ludwig, who's had a big night, takes ball 1.
And he's got to pitch Ludwig pretty carefully here.
Ludwig today named National League Player of the Month for July, and he's celebrated with his 18th home run and his 12th double of the year. He's driven in 2 runs. And Ludwig pops one foul, 1-1. The Cardinals start the night percentage points behind the Cubs for first place in the National League Central. The Cubs playing again in Cincinnati tonight, leading 1-0 in the 5th. Cardinals also a game and a half behind the Rockies for the wild card lead in the National League. They've had the pitching all year, and now they have certainly added the offense.
Oh,
1-2 to Ludwig.
Cubs are playing the Reds too. Have lost 13 of their last 14, 19 of their last 23 to be mired in the tie for last place. So Reds not playing well.
And today got the news that their young starter Edison Volquez will miss at least a year, having undergone Tommy John surgery today. So the news keeps getting worse for the Reds. 1-2 to Ludwig. Holiday can steal a base. He's got 13 this year. You see what Ludwig did in July. Not enormous numbers that you normally associate with Player of the Month, but
6 home runs is good and 340 is good. But the RBIs were, substandard. 18. You'll take it.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup. So Santana finishes off the inning with his 5th strikeout. But the Cardinals regain the lead on Holiday's hit. Now the Mets at the top of the order, up halfway through. They're down 4-3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. That's will set the top of the batting order up against Joel Pinheiro. Some of the big crowd here at Citi Field on a very lovely Tuesday night. Day game tomorrow starting at noon, and then the Mets hit the road for a week to go to San Diego, where it'll be very pleasant, and Arizona, where it will be ungodly hot.
Well, it's just I spent the day at this ballpark the other day before the game doing some things on the field and just looking around. This place is beautiful. Beautiful ballpark.
Another good night for Angel Pagan at the plate. He singled to left in the 1st inning, sacrificed fly to drive and a run in the 2nd, but failed to score on a hit by Wright in the 1st inning that cost the Mets a run. So while Pagan continues to hit, the base running continues to be an issue. Rockies have taken a 4-0 lead on the Phillies. Garrett Atkins with a home run.
Rockies have been fine after they left Flushing here. They just can't play here.
Seems that way, right? Slow ground ball for Schumacher. And he throws out Pagan one away. The Rockies won their last game here in the 2nd half of the day-night doubleheader. And they begin the night with a half-game lead in the wild card. Here's Castillo, who sacrificed and grounded out tonight, 0 for 1. Well, the Mets got their big inning together against Pinheiro in the 2nd inning, but he has settled in from there and now has himself the lead back. 1-0 to Castillo.
And it wasn't a good sign that Pagan with a kind of a weak 4-3, because that's when Pagan is at, Pinheiro is at his best, when he's getting that weak kind of ground ball.
1-1 to Castillo. That is the 2-run double bat of Johan Santana.
A Louisville slugger. I can't see what the model is.
Is that the bat Louis using? Using Santana's bat?
Todd.
Got a double in it. This is strike 2 and 2.
Keith, yours was C271. Was that your model?
Yep. With the cup at the end of the barrel. 34.5-inch long.
Cup in the, at the end concentrated the hitting area, but also took a half ounce off the bat, right?
Correct.
Toward the middle of the diamond, Lugo watches it go into center field, and Castillo's got his first hit of the night, the 7th for the Mets off Pinheiro, and the tying run aboard for David Wright. An F-123. Familiar?
No, I don't know an F-123.
Sounds like a fighter plane.
Yeah.
Fokker. Here's your 5th inning recap. Santana with a 2-run double that gave the Mets the lead, but then he allowed the Cardinals to take the lead back with 2 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. Now David Wright is 1 for 2. He's singled to right and flied to right. Mentioned earlier, Pinheiro almost impossible to steal a base against. Well, it's going to go back to August 11th of last year, the last steal against him.
There's 2 reasons for that. One, he is very good at the delivery to the plate, very quick, and he's got a great weapon behind the plate. Molina, just one of the best arms in baseball behind that dish.
Molina won his first Gold Glove last year. The thing about Molina is they don't run on him. I mean, he plays almost every day. There have only been 37 attempts against the Cardinals with Molina behind the plate this year, and he's thrown out 14 of the 37. That's 38%. So you take it easy at first base.
He'll throw behind you too.
There he does. And Castillo goes back in standing safely.
It's a lot closer than you thought, right? I mean, Castillo did not get off that bag far distance. That's pretty conservative lead. And watch where the tag comes down.
Oh, he almost came off the bag. He slipped over the top.
Wow. Is that a plastic spikes versus metal spikes thing there? Because you just don't see that happen with metal spikes, do you?
Yes, it is. Plastic spikes. If you don't go right into the bag, you will slip over the top. It looks like he has metal spikes.
You can do it with metal spikes if you get caught in the middle of your foot.
The bag gets kind of dewy too, doesn't it, at night, Keith, in a very humid night?
Yep. We got 3 and 1 here where they set Louis loose.
First Med batter with 3 balls on him tonight, and David lines a base hit into left field. Castillo will pull in at second. So back-to-back 1-out hits move the tying run into scoring position. Second hit of the night for David Wright.
Well, wants it away and right down. Ooh, inner half. David turns on it. A little bit towards the end of the bat, it seemed.
The scouts are charting every pitch. It's Dave Duncan charting every pitch. He is religious about those defensive charts. There we go.
This time of year, there's always scouts around.
Still can make trades in August if players clear waivers. Here's Sheffield, who grounded into a double play in the first to end a rally, then had an infield single in the third. First and second and 1 out with the Mets down by a run in the 5th. And Sheffield hits it to deep left center field. Back goes Holiday. Back near the wall with Ankiel, who can't get it. One up against the fence. Now they knock it around on the warning track. Castillo and Wright will both come home, and the Mets take the lead. Sheffield with a double, and I don't know what went on between Ankiel and Holiday as they booted that ball around on the warning track.
Well, Ankiel muffed the play anyway. It's his ball. And he pulls up, laying there, and in front of the wall, got a little gun shy. He had a chance. He should have caught this ball.
Well, he missed it once, then he batted it away.
Barehanded, that's why.
Well, Castillo right here. He's going to score easily if it's not caught. There he goes.
Wright does a nice job too, Keith.
He should come all the way to second.
So it's 5-4 New York. Now Murphy with the runner at second and 1 out. Mets now with 9 hits off Pinheiro. And Murphy lifts one to left center field, slicing away from Mankiel. He won't get it. It rolls to the wall. Sheffield to score. Murphy with a double. 6-4 New York.
Oh, this is what Murph has to do. And that ball right down the middle. Don't try to pull it. Go right into that gap.
Well, the Mets elevating the ball against Pinheiro in a way we just have not seen in the past. And they've now pounded out 6 runs on 10 hits against the sinker baller. And Dave Duncan out to see if he can get any more out of Pinheiro.
Just down with left-handers. Left-handers love it down, and it's over the middle, and I give Murph credit. It's a ball Murph's been pulling.
By the way, on the ball Sheffield hit, no error on the play. It's a 2-run double for Sheffield.
It was muffed. It should have been caught. And here's David here on the fly ball. Gets all the way to second base.
That's a good read there.
Yes.
So the Mets with a 3 spot here at the bottom of the 5th. Still only 1 out. 4 straight hits have produced the 3 runs. Now Jeff Francoeur looking to pick up Murphy from second. And Francoeur bounces one foul. Francoeur tonight is lined out to right, hit to a fielder's choice.
Boy, I tell you, if I'm Pinheiro, I'm a little upset. I mean, that ball on Sheffield, that's got to be caught.
Pinheiro threw a 2-hit shutout against the Mets here on June 23rd as Dennis Reyes gets up in the Cardinal bullpen. But tonight, Pinheiro has been more like Pinata.
One of the things that I've noticed from outfielders here is because of the distance they run, it's almost like they can't believe they're still running and they haven't hit the warning track yet, and that's why they sometimes pull up shy. But you're right, that ball's got to be made. That play's going to be made.
Slow ground ball for Lugo. Throws out Francoeur for the second out as Murphy moves over to third. There's your AT&T pitcher's high speed. Both Santana and Pinheiro topping out at 91. Each has had themselves a bad inning. Santana gave up 4 hits and 2 runs in the 4th. When the Cardinals tied the game, they then took the lead in the 5th. But now the Mets have responded with 4 straight hits and 3 runs off Pinheiro to regain the lead in the bottom of the 5th. Now Cora, who's 1 for 2. Alex now has a 7-game hitting streak working.
Pinheiro, the 4th hitter for the Cardinals next inning, trying to get him through this 5th inning.
At a low pitch count, only 66 pitches thrown today. No walks, as is his want. He's only walked 15 all year. With a strike 1-1. In fact, Pinheiro has the lowest walk ratio in the National League and the lowest home run ratio in the league. He's only given up 3 home runs.
Well, he has not been sharp. You see his pitch count right there. And strikes and balls, that's good, but he hasn't been sharp. He hasn't located tonight at all.
Those strikes have been more in the middle of the plate.
Right. So you can kind of throw that one away.
Cora goes up the middle, and it sneaks through for a base hit. Murphy in to score a 4-run inning for the Mets, and it's 7-4. Well, La Russa just watched his 2 middle infielders stare at each other as that ball went up the middle.
Well, for seeing eye dog, as they say, right there. Boy, that just Baltimore chop. If they make this play, they don't throw Cora out.
5 hits in the inning, 4 runs are in, and the Mets have a 7-4 lead.
I just think Tony wants Pinheiro just to get out of this inning.
Santos, the 8th man up. Cora takes off. Molina's throw gets him from his knees. Molina throws out Cora, and Pinheiro still hasn't given up a steal this year. However, he gave up 4 runs in the inning. Molina puts an end to it by throwing out Cora from his knees, but a big inning for the Mets, and they lead 7-4 as Santana goes back to the mound for the 6th. A back and forth game tonight. Mets were down 1-0, up 3-1, down 4-3, and now they lead 7-4 on the strength of a 4-run fifth inning. Yadier Molina, who just threw out Alex Cora without even standing, leads off in the sixth. Molina is 1 for 2. And the thing about it was Cora got a great jump.
Yes, he did. What a throw he made. That's like Tony Pena.
Now you know why people don't run against the Cardinals.
Yeah. I mean, watch this great jump and just a great throw. And it had to be at the bag. If it was waist high, he's safe.
Two and 1 to Molina, with Rick Ankiel and Julio Lugo to follow.
That's to let you people know at home, if you throw up 30%, 33%, that's a great number.
Grounded to short for Cora. And that's the first out. Dennis Reyes up again in the Cardinal bullpen. Pinheiro would do a fourth in the inning. So here's Rick Ankiel to bat with 1 out and nobody on. Ankiel singled in a run in the 4th inning for the Cardinals, and he cranks one foul and makes it into the promenade. That's a place they don't often get foul ball. 0-1 to Ankiel. And he hits this one well to right center field, chasing Frank Cora back, but he's there. 2 out. So 2 out and nobody on. Let's check in with Jonas Schwartz in the studio for a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Here's Julio Lugo with 2 out and nobody on. Lugo 1 for 2, double down the left field line in the 3rd inning, fly down in the 4th. And he takes low from Santana 1-0. So Santana taking the mound after being handed a 3-run lead. He was given a 2-run lead earlier, couldn't hold it. Now with a 3-run edge, trying to post a 1-2-3 inning. And that's just off the plate, 2-0. Early in the season, the Mets weren't scoring at all for Santana, but he's had a few games like this year. He had one in San Francisco when he matched up against Randy Johnson, when he gave up a few runs, but the Mets were able to score for him and keep him in the lead.
You know, these are one of these games that obviously Johan does not have his A game, but you can still gut it out there. The best I ever saw was Dave Stewart as a teammate. He was one of those guys. He could win a game 9-5, and he could also win a game 1-0. He was facing Clemens. He just knew how to pitch in whatever game he was in.
Lugo lifts one to right, easy for Frank Cora. So Santana, after being given the 3-run lead, puts up a 1-2-3 inning. His first since the 1st. Middle of the 6th, Mets lead by 3. Afternoon at 12:10 p.m. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now.
We're not encouraging children to play hooky, are we?
No, the school's not in anyway. We're talking about the adults.
Just checking.
Here's your Aflac trivia question for tonight. The only players to win 2 batting triple crowns.
2 triple crowns.
As opposed to the pitching triple crown.
It doesn't really count.
Right.
I mean, it counts for pitchers, but.
Well, they have a triple crown of horse racing, too.
There you go. That's a pretty good one. Dennis Reyes, who leads the St. Louis Cardinals with 50 appearances. His last outing was not good. He gave up a couple runs in a third of an inning. But he has been a durable left-hander. Had some of his best years, I believe, with the Minnesota Twins. But used in the right way, even at later in his career, he can still be effective.
There's always a spot for a left-hander.
Oh, boy.
Santos hits one along the right field line. Dangerous area for Ludwig near the stands, but he doesn't really get close to it.
I think that's on the left-hander Carlos Diaz. And I remember one of the players, I won't say who said it because it was harsh, but the game was harsh in those days, said to Carlos Diaz, he said, if you were left-handed, you'd be making doorknobs in Encino. That's what he dropped on. That's harsh. Oh.
Wow.
Hey, Carlos had a pretty good curveball.
No, he did, but you know.
He didn't throw hard, but he had a good yacker on him.
Carlos's best play for the Mets was getting number 50 over here. He was involved in the trade with Bob Baylor over to the Dodgers for Sid Fernandez.
I remember the first time I faced Carlos when he was with the Dodgers. I was looking at my chops. He got me out. He dropped the hook on me. I went, oh,
go sit down.
He stunned me.
And he strikes out Santos. Dennis Reyes fans the first man to face him, something Joel Pinheiro did not do tonight. In fact, Pinheiro tonight, no walks, no strikeouts. Pinheiro's now thrown 22 innings against the Mets this year. 1 strikeout. Wow. 22 innings. First 2 outings were brilliant, not so brilliant tonight. 7 runs and 11 hits. He's tagged 4 in 5 innings of work.
Well, the Cardinal outfield defense tonight has kind of let him down. Now, the Mets hit him pretty hard now, but I just thought Sheffield's double should have been caught.
Well, it's something the Cardinals are going to have to live with now with Matt Holliday in left field.
Well, my point is, if you've got 2 corner outfielders that can't cover ground, then give the corners. Down the line's a double anyway. You got a gap. Take the gaps away.
Santana had a big 2-run double that hopped up against the fence in left center in the second inning. Reyes ahead 1-2. Dennis Reyes has something in common with Billy Wagner. Like Wagner, he was naturally a right-hander, but broke his clavicle when he was a kid and had to switch to his left hand. Toward the middle of the diamond, and Schumacher on the backhand. Has time to set and throw out Santana 2 away.
Does he eat with his left hand or right hand, you think?
I do not know the answer to that. I've never really observed Dennis having meals. I do know that Dennis idolized Fernando Valenzuela growing up in Mexico, and in some ways he bears a little bit of a resemblance to Fernando. They were both signed by the same scout, Mike Brito. 2 out. Here's Angel Pagan, who has singled, hit a sacrifice fly, and grounded out 1 for 2. One and 1 to Pagan. Todd Wellemeyer recently bounced from the Cardinal rotation, is up in the bullpen. Cardinals right now, because of some off days, are going with 4 starting pitchers. They brought up Mitchell Boggs to make a spot start. Remember him?
Yes, I do.
He's had a field day against Boggs in St. Louis a couple of years ago.
Mitchell Boggs with the curveball.
Too high, and it's 3-1 to Pagan. right-handed for the first time tonight, and it was from this side of the plate that he hit his grand slam and won a ball game against Arizona Saturday night.
It is muggy tonight.
3-2, and he walked him. That is the first walk of the game for either side. And what a difference when the game is not filled with walks. So 2 out, Pagan is aboard, and now Castillo, who's sacrificed, grounded out, and then singled to center to get the Mets' 4-run inning started in the 5th.
Well, Pinheiro, after the outing tonight, has pitched 39 innings against the Mets, 6 walks. I mean, wow.
Pagan has stolen 8 bases. The only time he was caught stealing was that ill-fated break from third base the other day.
That was Jamie Moyer up there got hammered tonight, wasn't it, Gary? 8-2 Colorado in the 6th in Philly.
There goes Pagan. Molina's throw right on the money. Another perfect throw by Molina. And the Mets are now 0 for 2 against him tonight. Wow. You can understand why he won the Gold Glove last year and maybe headed for another one this year. Pagan out 2-6 to end the inning. Still 7-4 Mets.
He's hoping to hand it off to K-Rod a little bit later, and something the Mets haven't seen of late. 19 games since the All-Star break. Forget about saves. K-Rod's got 1. He's only been in 6 games, and I talked to him today about it. He said, look, it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard. By this point of the year, I expected to have about 20 more times on the mound than I've had. So I've tried to find ways to deal with it. He said, for me, just keeping my release point is what I'm concerned about, because I can throw a million bullpens, but I don't really feel it unless I'm in the game in that competitive nature. So much so, guys, that he told me he lobbies Jerry Manuel now to get him in blowouts. And I know Jerry doesn't like to do that, but he's asking into games now because he simply hasn't pitched. Maybe tonight will be a little different on that front. Back to you.
Well, we'll see whether he gets a chance in a save situation tonight. Khalil Green pinch hitting for the Cardinals, leading off in the 7th inning, batting for Dennis Reyes. Green recently back from his 2nd stint on the disabled list because of social anxiety disorder. This came back on Saturday, and when he left, he was a starting player. Now he is a reserve. 1-2 to Green.
He's only signed through this season. It's going to be interesting if he can find enough help to be attracted to a team in the offseason.
Skip Schumacher on deck, then Mark DeRosa against Santana in the 7th. Green down swinging on the changeup for the first out. That's 6 strikeouts for Johan. 1 down in the 7th. Here's your Mets upcoming schedule. All Mets games on SNY are available in HD, presented by IOTV. And if you're in the car, listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Noon game tomorrow. Jonathan Neese against Kyle Loesch. Then it's off to San Diego for 4 and Arizona for 3 before the Mets come home and play the Giants a week from Friday night. It's a long homestand when the Mets get back. They have, I think it's 4 with the Giants, right? And
yes.
then they have 3 with the Braves and 4 with the Phillies. It's an 11-game homestand.
Well, that'll decide it right there.
That'll be where it'll be crucial. I know we got a whole road trip to go, and we got 4 in San Diego and 3 in Arizona. But that's going to be a critical homestand.
Schumacher pounds another one into the ground. Murphy with the overhand toss, and Schumacher has grounded out for the 4th straight time. 2 out and nobody on. Well, the fact of the matter is that for the Mets, as far as any postseason hopes, time is running out. I mean, they've got 57 games to go, including tonight. They're 8 games back in the wild card. They're 10 games back in the division, and they just can't afford to lose any series at this point. I mean, they were riding high, having won 5 in a row, but then lost that series to the Diamondbacks, losing 3 out of 4, and all of a sudden, now their position is bordering on dire.
Jerry Manuel in the paper came up with the 20 out of 24. I don't know where he got the number, but 20 out of 24 is a tall order
for any team in any circumstance.
Absolutely.
Down to 3rd, a foul ball.
Well, what makes it difficult is that you're talking about a team playing the kind of baseball that they haven't shown the entire year. And you're talking about a team that has 50 wins. Last year, the Philadelphia Phillies won the division with 92, so they'd have to go 42 and 15. Now, okay, take the division out of play. One of those teams is getting to 90 in the wild card. I'll tell you that right now. So at some point, you know, the Mets mathematically have to do some serious playing, and 20 to 24 is one of the things they'd have to do.
Well, they need 40, at least 40 plus wins.
Right?
Yep.
0-2 to DeRosa, who's 0 for 3 on the day, and he takes low. Well, I'll say this. During the 5-game winning streak, the Mets got something that they haven't had almost the entire season. That is a stretch of starting pitching that gave them a chance to win every day. I mean, Santana's going to give you a credible performance every time out. Everybody else, though, has been so up and down, it's hard to rely on it. And going deep on the post pattern, Santana catches it to end the inning. Showing off every piece of his game tonight, the pitching, the hitting, and now making like a wide receiver. At 1 a.m. it's 30 minutes of what matters the most to you. The latest news on all things New York sports. Hear it all on Geico Sports Night every night at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. right here on SNY. Wellemeyer comes out of the bullpen for the Cardinals as we go to the bottom of the seventh.
Well, you know, he had a career year last season and just hasn't been able to get his changeup over. His struggle, now making his 6th relief appearance after being sent to the bullpen.
Look at that, 327 batting average against, 348 the left-hand hitter.
Look at the hits to innings pitched.
Ouch.
It'll be Castillo, Ryan, and Sheffield as the Mets try to expand on a 7-4 lead. Mets have had 2 big innings tonight. A 3-run second, highlighted by Santana's 2-run double, and a 4-run 5th with Sheffield getting the big hit, a 2-run double of his own. Castillo 1 for 2 and a walk was at the plate when Pagan was caught stealing to end the 6th. The Mets have had each of the last 2 innings and on a caught stealing on brilliant throws by Yadier Molina.
Has always had a good arm. This is a matter of his secondary pitches. Too inconsistent.
Now it's 3-1 to Castillo. Strike 3 and 2. Bounce to second. Nice easy hop for Schumacher. 1 away. Let's check out the answer to our Aflac trivia question. The only 2 players to win the Triple Crown.
Yeah, I knew it was 10. I didn't know Rogers Hornsby. Wow, Raja.
Hornsby, who 1 year hit .424.
Teddy Ballgamer, right? The last person hit 400, 406.
Louis fell down the stairs going down the steps.
Oh no. Well, Louis has managed to stay healthy all season. Can you imagine?
Oh.
There's David Wright, and he takes ball 1. David 2 for 3 tonight, and he looks like he is ailing. Ray Ramirez, the trainer, Angel Baroa, helping
Are you kidding
Castillo up, and he looks like he is hurt. Well, here it is. And that is not good.
You can hyperextend your knee. Look at Ray Ramirez coming over to the manager, Jerry Manuel, saying, we got a problem.
Oh, boy.
I'm not going to step. You could tear a cartilage.
But this is a guy who was hurt for the first year and a half he was with the Mets. Finally has been able to stay healthy all year this year. Has had himself a fine season. And in this injury-plagued year, can you imagine that this is the way he gets hurt?
Oh, boy.
And Ray Ramirez was right there to come attend to him. And we can only hope it's nothing serious. Inside ball 4, and Wright is on with a walk.
When we used to play at the old Shea, of course, there were wooden steps that would go down. So if you did slip, you really would just fall on your rear end. But now they have some of that kind of padding that is non-slip, or shouldn't be a slip. So sometimes you catch a cleat.
Well, they got some stone there, it looks like.
Yeah. Right on the top, yeah.
Well, on the top, but it's sort of
the next step down.
That kind of padding, that grip, and you can catch a cleat, absolutely.
Sheffield is 2 for 3, an infield hit and a long 2-run double. And you see Louis trying to fight off the pain and having a tough time doing it. On a day when the Mets receive news that Jose Reyes is coming back from Florida to see Met doctors because that hamstring is still giving him discomfort. mean, there have been only two guys left standing all year in terms of position players. There's been Wright and there's been Castillo, and that's it.
Everyone else has had their trip to Port St. Lucie.
Not in March either. Double play ball right to Schumacher. And the easy turn for Lugo for the 4-6-3 double play. Second double play hit into by Sheffield. But the greater concern tonight is for Luis Castillo. We'll see whether he's able to take the field as we go to the 8th. Luis Castillo barely able to walk as he heads out of the dugout and down toward the clubhouse, and will have to be fully supported by Ray Ramirez and Fernando Tatis just to get down those steps. After Luis fell down the dugout steps and clearly hurt himself, and the Mets suffer yet another untimely injury, this one in the most bizarre of fashions. Alex Cora will move over to play second base. Angel Baroa comes in at shortstop, and the Mets also bring in Corey Sullivan to play left field for defense as we go to the 8th inning. I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. For a team that has had every manner of injury and what looked like minor injuries last for months, now they have a guy hurt just walking into the dugout. It's beyond description bizarre.
Probably their best everyday player.
Albert Pujols leads off in the 8th inning against Santana, who throws a strike on the outside edge. Pujols, after suffering through an 0 for 13 skid, has a single and a double his last 2 trips. Pop foul backing out of play, 0-2. If you're keeping a scorecard, Sullivan is hitting second in Castillo's spot, and Baroa is hitting 4th in Sheffield's spot.
Just stunning.
I mean, if it weren't so sad, it would be funny. Hit to center field and hit well. Back goes Pagan to the track, looking up, and it's into the apple. A home run for Albert Pujols. His 35th of the year. That leads the major leagues, and it cuts the Met lead to 7-5.
Were you talking about a slump in the opening at some point?
I did say he's going to break out sooner or later. And I guess he's broken out. Boom. High. He stays so level on the high pitch, and it's good.
Single, double, home run. Last 3 at bats for El Hombre. The other Apple home run. Is that Ryan Church?
Ryan Church.
Right to second base, and Cora picks it out of the air. They say that he did catch it on the fly. And Holland Holliday retired for the first out. One away. Time to check in with Jonas Schwartz for a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Petita's come out of nowhere to throw a couple of very good outings in a row for the D-backs. Ryan Ludwig has a home run and a double tonight, and he takes inside ball one. Homered into the left field stands off the facing of the second deck in the second inning. Then he'll long double to center in the fourth. Feliciano and Green both up in the bullpen in case Santana needs help. By the way, Johan, by going 7 1/3 so far, has now matched his longest outing of the year. This is his 100th pitch, and that's, I think it's low. 2-1. Santana went 7 1/3 against Tampa Bay back on June the 20th in a 3-1 loss. Popped up, shallow right field, and Frank Curry is there. 2 out. So 2 away now. Molina, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Well, the Mets would love for Santana to get one more out and hand it straight off to K-Rod for the 9th inning. It's not been a great outing for Johan. He's allowed 5 runs and 9 hits, but he hasn't walked a batter. He struck out 6, now up to 101 pitches on the night. And Molina takes ball 1.
Kind of like that start he had here, right, against the Phillies when he gave him 4 home runs, kind of bent, but did not break.
Kick save off to right, bare hand play, stretched by Murphy, and they got him. The second 1-5-3 play of the night. The redirect by Santana, and a fine bare hand play by Wright gets Santana through 8 innings for the first time today. First time this year he's gone 8 with the back heel. 7-5 New York. Brought to you by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. By the United States Postal Service. By Corona. By Geico. And by Cadillac. Johan Santana threw 8 innings for the first time this season. Mets with a 7-4 lead. The word on Luis Castillo is that he suffered a sprained left ankle falling down the stairs into the dugout. And, you know, with a sprained ankle, that can be a couple of days. It can be many weeks. So we'll wait to hear further. But In a year of injuries for the Mets, the most bizarre of injuries. Daniel Murphy has a single and a double tonight, 1-1 to Murph. It'll be Murphy, Francoeur, and Cora against Todd Wellemeyer in the bottom of the 8th. Wellemeyer pitched a hitless 7th inning. Now McClellan is up in the St. Louis bullpen.
McClellan has an excellent curveball.
And now Wellemeyer behind on Murphy, 3-1. Francoeur waiting to hit next. And Murphy watches ball 4, and the Mets get the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 8th. Second walk given up by Wellemeyer. Time for your Mercedes-Benz attention assist to the game, and how about this play by Johan Santana? Man has done it all tonight, hasn't he?
You know, I do have to say, I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher who can give up 5 runs in a start and be the best player on the field. I mean, it's just, he wants it.
Well, let's not forget his putout too. That little short pop-up over the mound. Heck of a play.
And he almost made another one, the one he dove for that Schumacher hit. As K-Rod gets up in the bullpen, looking for a save chance tonight. Francoeur is 0 for 3 tonight after going 0 for 4 last night. Makes a big rip at the Wellemeyer fastball, 0-2. To second, Schumacher's got it, drops it, but on the exchange, it does count as an out, the first of the inning. So 1 out and 1 on. Second straight 0 for 4 for Francoeur, and here's Alex Cora, who's 2 for 3. And if Alex thought he was ever going to get a day off, now he's got no chance.
Yeah.
2 hits tonight. He has been hitting. 7-game hitting streak, and he's 11 for 24 in those 7 games. And a call strike to Cora, 0-1. Alex moved over to play second base after Castillo got hurt, with Moroa taking over at short. Trevor Miller, the left-hander, Jason Mott, the right-hander, up in the Cardinal bullpen.
How did we manage to do this? This is beautiful. He's never seen that close and personal with a Visitors bullpen.
In the air to left field, and Holiday right there waiting for it. 2 out. So 2 out. Murphy's still at first, and now we'll hear Santos. Santos has been hit by a pitch, grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Mets leading 7-5 as they bat in the bottom of the 8th. Looking ahead to the 9th, it'll be the lower third of the order for the Cardinals, and Keel, Lugo, and the pitcher's spot, presumably against Francisco Rodriguez. There's a strike to Santos, 0-1. Wolf holding against Murphy at first with 2 out. And Santos bloops one, shallow right center, falling fast, base hit. Murphy will go to third, and Santos has his first hit of the night, a pop fly single. And now Jeremy Reed will bat for Johan Santana. So Santana in line for his 13th win of the year. He'd be the first National League pitcher to reach 13 wins. if the Mets are able to finish this one off for him. Reed trying to expand the lead with first and third and 2 out. And Jeremy takes inside ball 1. Reed popped up as a pinch hitter last night. Big rip, and it's 1-1. Murphy is at third. Santos at first with 2 down. That's now with a dozen hits tonight. The first 11 came off Joel Pinheiro. Yeah, they have been lucky to get a loud foul ball against the last couple of times they faced him. 1 and 2 now to Reed. Mets tonight have gone 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They've had 2 big innings, a 3-run second and a 4-run fifth. Todd Wellemeyer, the pitcher of the big shoulders. He's like Chicago. In fact, Carl Sandburg called Chicago the city of the big shoulders.
That's right. You can hang up your winter coat on his shoulders.
Well, you have to when you have a name like that, right? Wellemeyer, you got to have shoulders to fit that long name.
That's a good point. Imagine being Salt of Lamont.
That's right.
Reed hacks one back to the screen.
There's some of the other ones. Mankiewicz, Van Landingham.
Well, it used to be that Cardinal 37 jersey, only the handle Hernandez.
That's right. Need another Hernandez on the team to get a first initial on there. Never got there.
We had that matchup earlier this season where Wellemeyer faced Tatis, one of your old uniforms against the other.
That's right.
Reed yanks one foul.
It's kind of loud and raucous tonight, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
40,354. Big gathering at Citi Field. Been a fun game for them to watch. 1-2 to Reed. Lifted foul. Reed, with a variety of different swings, has been able to keep the at-bat alive.
People love baseball.
This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat to Jeremy Reed. And he fouls back another one. The Nats are rallying in Washington. They were down 4-0 against Florida going to the bottom of the 8th. They have 3 runs in. It's now 4-3. Florida 5 games out in the East, 3 games back in the wild card race. And the Nats, they've been scoring a lot of runs, particularly Messrs. Dunn and Zimmerman.
Zimmerman has 21 home runs coming into the game.
And a 70 ribeye stakes keep Dunn 27 and 78.
Again, the 1-2, and the breaking ball bounced slowly to Schumacher. And that'll do it for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th. Now it's up to Francisco Rodriguez as he bids for his 25th save of the year. 7-5 New York. Won his 2,500th game. He said you got to be around a long time. You got to be in great situations, and that's what he's been.
Well, he brought a winner to the Chicago, the South Side. Sorry, North Side, South Side, with the White Sox. Sorry about that. And then went to Oakland and had some unbelievable players there. Went to the World Series 3 years in a row. And of course, St. Louis, they've done a fantastic job over there. 118th year for the Cardinals.
Francisco Rodriguez has had only one save chance since the All-Star break. He picked that up the other night against Arizona. Now he tries for his 25th of the year.
Look at those batting averages against the left-hander, just owning.
And he'll face the left-hand batter Rick Ankiel to lead off the ninth. Ankiel 1 for 3, drove in a run with a 4th-inning single. And he takes below the knees for ball 1. It'll be Ankiel, then Julio Lugo, then the pitcher's spot. Probably Colby Rasmus to pinch hit. Rasmus, the rookie who's hit more home runs than any National League rookie, has lost his playing time now with the arrival of Matt Holliday. There's Lugo on deck. And there's Colby Rasmus.
You know what's pretty interesting is that here's Santana line for his 13th win, and people at home might say, well, you know, he's Santana. Gets paid a lot of money to win. It's different winning 13 games with a team that's some 500 than it is with a top of the division club. And he has, despite how the Mets have played at times, he just will not stand for not winning the ball games.
K-Rod behind on Ankiel, 3-1. You can't walk the leadoff hitter here in a 2-run game.
Lula give Ankiel a take sign here.
Swinging, and he rips it down the line. An extra base hit for Ankiel to start the ninth. Ankiel pulls in at second base with his 20th double of the year, and just like that, the Cardinals will get the tying run to the plate in the ninth inning.
Well, you fall behind, you come with a fastball. Wanted it away, Ron, and it just kind of floated over there into the inner half of the plate. Ankiel just turns on it nicely.
Pitch supposed to be outside. ILTV pitch differential really started outside and came right over the inside part of the plate, where when the count's 3-1, left-hander's going to hit it hard.
It's right where Ankiel likes it there, too. Below the waist, middle plate in.
So now Lugo, who has a double in 3 trips, tying run at the plate in a 7-5 game. David Wright playing almost on the line at third base to try and prevent the double.
You notice that the teams in the last month or so that face Rodriguez have done a lot of taking early in the count, as opposed to early in the year they were doing a lot of swinging as Burrow fakes the runner at second base.
One to Lugo.
Corey Rasmus right there in the on-deck circle. The pinch hit for Waldemeyer.
He's got some tools too, that young man.
Lugo has 9 career at-bats against K-Rod, only 1 hit. He has more at-bats against Frankie than any of the Cardinals, having spent that time in the American League. Two and one now.
Big pitch again, Gary, right here.
Well, he fell behind Ankiel 3-1 before giving up a ringing double. Doesn't want to fall behind 3-1 on Lugo. Fouled away, 2-2.
Problem is, if you put too many base runners on here in this situation, then you have a chance of DeRosa coming up with 6-7 home runs as a Cardinal, and worst of all, number 5 at some point could come up with a couple of outs.
Don't want that happening.
Pujols, the 6th man due up in the inning. Nationals tied up that game with the Marlins. There's 4-4 still batting at the bottom of the 8th. And Keel at second and nobody out. 2-2 to Lugo. Now a full count. Colby Rasmus, the pinch hitter, waiting on deck. Fouled away. Lugo reaching for the fastball.
Too close to take. That might have been ball 4. Not making it easy for Jerry Manuel. Little runner there, little cutter.
Jerry got 8 innings out of Johan Santana for the first time this season.
Jerry over there looking at that scorecard.
Again, the 3-2 to Lugo. Line drive, left field, base hit, headed toward the gap. Sullivan can't cut it off. Ankiel scores. Lugo takes the tying run to second base with nobody out. Back-to-back doubles to start the 9th inning, and now it's 7-6 New York.
Well, this has always been a very spirited Cardinal team. All Tony La Russa's teams have no quit in them. Little cutter, got it up too much, Ron. Too much play. Good hitting by Lugo there. And do you bunt, Ronnie, now? For the overrule, you play for the
Win on the road, right?
For the win on the road. And in my case right now, I bunt.
Colby Rasmus having a face-to-face with third base coach Jose Oquendo that's just broken up, and we'll see what they do here.
I got to get back in the ball game here.
Well, you got Rasmus, a left-hand hitter. They might allow him to try and just pull the ball and see if he can get a base hit out of it.
You saw Rodriguez's numbers against left-handers below 200.
Nats are playing as though the Cardinals are going to bunt.
Well, not first base. You got Murph back.
It's true.
But David's in.
Well, let's see what La Russa decides to do. Tying run at second, nobody out. Not a bunt. And a big rip. 0-1.
Still got to be leery of the bunt. Might be one of those cases where you let the hitter have one swing. If he gets a pitch, if he doesn't, then the bunt's on. Murphy way back there. If Rasmus ever thinks of bunting it towards first.
Baroa trying to keep the runner close at second, and now Rasmus bunts and fouls it back, and it's 0-2.
If you're going to bunt, I know you want to give your hitter one swing. Just give him. He's not used to bunting. You give him 2 shots to get the ball down.
Good point, Keith. Of course, that's always the danger. Now he's in a 2-strike hole, and now the Mets can move back. You got another left-hand hitter, Skip Schumacher, waiting on deck. Oh, and 2 to Rasmus.
Nice block by Santos right there. That was trouble.
There's been a dearth of save opportunities for Francisco Rodriguez. This is only his second chance since the All-Star break, and trying not to let it get away. One and 2 to Rasmus. He struck him out. 1 out of the 9th.
Not a strike here, but that's when Frankie gets ahead. A changeup, it sinks.
Oh, what a key out that was.
So now 1 away. Lugo still at second, and here's Skip Schumacher, who's gone 0 for 4 tonight. 4 ground balls, although caveat, one of them was a little flare that Santana dove for. Knocked it over to right. Schumacher didn't run and was thrown out at first base. And Schumacher takes a strike at the knees.
Cardinals have good speed at second base. They're going to have a tough time on a base hit throwing out Lugo.
Yeah, it's fouled at the plate. It's 0-2.
Well, nice job by getting ahead there. The outfielder Sullivan with a good arm, and left field pretty good arm, in center field Pagan, but the right field, the front core, of course, with the cannon in right field.
Well, Frankie gave up back-to-back doubles to Ankiel and Lugo to start the inning to trim the lead to 1 run. He struck out Rasmus. Now he's 0-2 on Schumacher. Fouled at the plate. And Schumacher hangs in there.
Schumacher is a tough out. We've seen many at bats here, haven't we, from him? Fouling off pitch after pitch. That was nasty.
Tough man to strike out.
Mets looking to go 4 out of 5 over these Cardinals here at Citi Field.
Tight, 1-2. Cardinals started the night percentage points behind the Cubs for the central lead. The Cubs are cruising, leading 6-0 in Cincinnati in the 8th inning. So if the Cardinals were to lose this game, they might well fall a game behind.
Definition of looming right there, Keith.
Pujols 2 batters away. 1-2 to Schumacher. Upstairs, 2-2. 94 from K-Rod. Hardest pitch he's thrown.
Seen from Rodriguez, usually the high fastball is followed by the changeup down and away. We'll see if he stays with that sequence of pitches.
I think he's going to stay away from the breaking ball, Ron. He's got more command of that changeup.
Two. High again. So after getting ahead 0-2 on Schumacher, now he's gone to a full count. If Schumacher walks, not only are you putting the go-ahead run on base, but barring a double play, you're guaranteeing an at-bat for Pujols.
Yes, you are. And we've seen this expression before. Not even September.
I personally, if I were Santos the catcher, I would go out to Rodriguez and change the signs. It's been too many pitches with Lugo at second base with the same sign.
Now the 3-2. Curveball lined into right field, a base hit. Here comes Lugo around third. Here comes Francoeur's throw to the plate. It's offline. RBI signal for Skip Schumacher has tied up the game. And Frankie Rodriguez has suffered his 4th blown save of the year. It's 7-7.
Wow. Ron, did he throw the curveball?
He threw the curveball, 3-2.
And he hung it. Oh, yes, he did. Nice hitting, nice at bat by Schumacher. And an excellent read by Lugo. He knew, he didn't hesitate.
Picked up his coach, scored the run, even on front core. Who had to go to his right, no chance.
So K-Rod has given up 2 in the 9th. The game is tied, and now DeRosa, who's 0 for 4 on the night. And he takes a strike, and now you got Pujols standing on deck. What a game this has been.
Wow.
Back and forth we've gone all night. Mets were down 1-0, up 3-1, down 4-3, up 7-4. But the Cardinals, with a run of the 8th and 2 in the 9th, have rallied to tie. K-Rod's 25th pitch of the inning upcoming. Now he's ahead on DeRosa 0-2. But remember, he had Schumacher 0-2.
He did. Schumacher, we told you, he just fights at that plate. What you have to watch out for now is you see the pitch differential. You want that down and away, back door. Boy, just up in the strike zone. Nice hitting, Keith.
Yes, it is. It's just bearing down, and you make a mistake with a breaking ball, the hitter going up the middle with 2 strikes. They're going to hurt you.
You've got to watch bouncing the curveball here, though. Schumacher's going to be on first base. He's going to anticipate this ball in the dirt.
DeRosa takes a hack at the fastball and screws himself right into the ground.
The old corkscrew. You see his back foot turn there, and you just come and you fall down.
Just trying to fight that off somehow, some way.
Well, he was a quarterback. He knows what it's like to take a sack.
That's right.
Schumacher, not a big base stealer, has just 2 for the year. He's the go-ahead run at first with 1 out. Whoa! Almost hit him 1 and 2.
Just got that elbow out of the way.
Take one for the team. With the big guy in the on-deck circle.
K-Rod staggering through the 9th. Has already given up the lead. Not trying to keep it tied. Grounded down to third, a foul ball.
I tell you, hung in there on that changeup. Barely just staying in the at-bat. How many pitches for Frankie now, Gary?
28. And still only 1 out.
And the reason they're fouling it off is usually you'll see the changeup from Francisco Rodriguez. When it's at its best, will be in the dirt. That ball's been staying up in the strike zone.
Let's have action up in the bullpen now behind K-Rod. So Santana's chance for his 13th victory is gone.
That's a shame. Effort he put out there tonight.
1 and 2 to DeRosa.
After getting beat with that curveball tied again, Keith, be interesting to see if he's reluctant to go back at it again as Sean Green gets ready in the bullpen for the Mets.
Schumacher a short lead. And the breaking ball hit in the air to center. Playable for Pagan. And that's the 2nd out. Back to first Schumacher. So 2 away, and now Pujols. There was a time earlier this year, if you were in this situation against the Cardinals, 2 out, runner at first, tie game, 9th inning, you consider walking him, even if it pushed the go-ahead run to second. You can't do that now.
Nope.
Not with Holiday hitting behind him. Albert tonight, after flying out in his first at bat, has singled, doubled, and hit his 35th home run. Up and in for ball 1. Pujols has had only 1 career at bat against K-Rod. Holiday has not faced him at all. Each team with 7 runs and 12 hits. We're in the 9th. 2-0 now.
That's one right there, Ron. It was a helicopter, but it stayed out of the strike zone. If he threw that down the middle, that's there to just hit out of the ballpark.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not getting that breaking ball out in front. He's letting it go a little too early. That's why it's spinning up there and doesn't have that sharp break.
Now behind 2-0, what do you do? He misses badly inside. Now it's 3-0.
It's going to be on Holiday.
Yes, it is.
I'd give Pujols a hit sign right here. He's not going to get a fastball, but he's a disciplined enough hitter to look middle in fastball. If he gets it 1 out of a million, he'll cover it.
That's outfield is almost back to the warning track to try and cut down the extra base hit. 3-0 to Pujols. And he swings and lifts one down the right field line, slicing away foul.
Well, he looked away, Ronnie. He was set up to go the opposite field, which I think is smart. They're not going to throw me middle in on 3-0. If he's going to throw me a fastball, it was a cutter, by the way, it's going to be away. So he looked away to try to drive it into the right center field gap.
33 pitches deep into this 9th inning and still toiling. And a big pitch to make here, down 3-1 to Pujols. Got him lunging, and it's 3-2.
He did not stay back on that one.
That was a tighter breaking ball there.
So now Schumacher, carrying the lead run, will be in motion with 3-2 and 2 out. Do it again.
Well, the good hitters just. That was a wicked pitch, Ronnie.
3-2 changeup, broke about 8 inches. Look at the bottom of that ball drop.
And stays in the at-bat. Just fighting off a tough pitch.
Murphy holding against Schumacher. He'll be running. Outside, ball 4. And now Holiday will come up with the lead run at second base. And if you're Jerry Manuel, what do? Your closer's already thrown 36 pitches in this 9th inning. And he's got another tough hitter to face with the go-ahead run at second base.
Well, we heard it earlier that K-Rod wanted the pitch. Well, he's going to be out there to get through this inning.
Well, with Dan Warthen out there right now, he's giving them a breather.
Yeah.
And saying, okay, this is your last guy right here. Let's go. That's the beauty of baseball. It's never over till it's over. You can't run the clock out.
Well, isn't that the ultimate respect that a manager gets? Is you have a team that plays hard for 27 outs, and that's what the Cardinals have done in this inning.
So here's Holiday. 2 runs are in, 2 out, 2 on. And now Holiday, who has driven in a run with a 5th inning single, 1 for 4 on the night.
You see the defense of Baroa. He's really playing, and the middle infielders, they're playing hard pull.
And Holiday attacks the first one, hits it hard to Baroa, knocks it down, sidearm flip, not in time, and the bases are loaded. Baroa in the game because of the injury to Castillo, unable to handle this ground ball cleanly, and the Cardinals are alive in the 9th.
Tough play here. Keeps his body in front and does everything right, and just.
I thought he made the play.
Just nice hustle.
Not even close.
Pujols made nice hustling here. He slid past the bag.
Cora went back to tag him, but it looked like he got the hand back in. Now Pujols a little banged up as he peels that right sock down.
I think he got a strawberry from that slide.
It's an error charge to Baroa to keep the inning alive. Only the Mets' 2nd error in their last 11 games.
I'll say one. That's a tough error right there. I mean, it's an error. He's in front of it, but it's a tough error. Let's see what happened to Pujols.
See his right knee. Let's see what happens if he jams it into the bag.
Oh, did he jam?
Oh, see how he comes awkward over the bag, reaching back? See how that knee is pronated backwards? Kind of like a mild sprain you can get sometimes.
Well, he's still hurting, but he's going to stay in.
Looks like he's feeling more towards his calf.
Yeah, is it, or maybe a spike from Cora.
Yep.
Right?
Maybe.
So now it's Ryan Ludwig who will bat with the bases loaded and 2 out with the game tied in the top of the 9th. Ludwig already tonight with a home run and a double. Today named National League Player of the Month for July, and now trying to get a big hit in August. K-Rod's thrown 37 pitches in the inning, and now he's going to face Ludwig, who's 2 for 4 on the night. away for ball one. The 38 pitches in this inning equals the most that Francisco Rodriguez has thrown in one inning this season. And how hard for a guy at this point in an inning to make the big pitch he needs to make. Ludwig, the 8th man up. Pull foul. Almost took out Schumacher, his teammate at third base.
Incoming.
Look out. Oh, Fred Astaire.
Well, one thing we've seen in this inning we haven't seen very much from Francisco Rodriguez. The ball's hit awfully hard.
One and one to Ludwig with bases full. In the air down the right field side, and that'll go foul. And now it's 1-2. Rick Ankiel started the inning by ripping a double down the right field line. Julio Lugo doubled to left center to get a run in. With one out, Skip Schumacher singled to tie the game. And then with two out, Pujols walked, and Holiday aboard on the air by Baroa to fill the bases. One and two now to Ludwig. This will be the 41st pitch of the inning from K-Rod. Popped it up. Murphy retreating. Cora coming over to call. And Cora squeezes it to finally put an end to the inning. The Cardinals rally to tie it. Rick Ankiel got it all started. Lugo and Schumacher with the RBIs. Cardinals leave them loaded. Mets on the top of the order at the bottom of the ninth with the game tied at 7. Puerto Rico. Representatives from Puerto Rico were here at Citi Field earlier today to announce their partnership with the Mets and SNY. Welcome aboard. Colby Rasmus stays in the game to play center field after pinch hitting. Rick Ankiel moves over to right field. And Kyle McClellan will pitch the bottom of the ninth. He'll go in the 5-hole with Ludwig coming out of the game. Top of the batting order, Angel Pagan leads off, and he takes a strike.
McClellan, who is a workhorse, rookie of the year for the Cardinals last year in 68 games, could see a workhorse again this season. Keith, you like his big curveball?
Well, that wasn't the one I liked. But he's got a good one.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that with Luis Castillo having injured himself going down the dugout steps and spraining his ankle in the 7th inning. Corey Sullivan is hitting second in the order behind Pagan. And keep in mind further that it's not Sheffield in the 4-hole, it's on Hel Baroa. So it's Pagan, Sullivan, and Wright, and then if anybody gets on, Baroa would be due up, and you can't take him out because you don't have another shortstop or another middle infielder. I guess you could play Tatis at second base and move Cora back to short. 3-1 now to Pagan, leading off in the ninth. Pagan tonight 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly and a walk.
What do you do here, Keith? Leadoff hitter, 3-1. If you get a cookie, you swing at it. Anything else you got to take, right?
Yes. Fastball, whatever you want to gear on, if it's to your liking, unless the manager gives you a take.
Swinging, and he lines one foul the other way. 3-2. Good relief pitching tonight for the Cardinals. Dennis Reyes gave them a hitless inning. Todd Wellemeyer 2 scoreless. And that was enough to give the Cardinals the opportunity to come back, a run in the 8th, and then 2 in the 9th to get the game even. Mets have not had a walk-off victory since late May against Florida. Right back to McClellan. And Pagan retired 1 away. Corey Sullivan will bat for the first time in the game. Sullivan appeared as a pinch hitter last night and grounded out. By the way, the Nationals rallied for 6 in the bottom of the 8th, and they beat Florida 6-4. Adam Dunn hit a home run to cap that 6-run inning, his 28th of the year. Wow, that's a tough loss for the Marlins, who had a 4-0 lead going to the bottom of the 8th.
And the Giants are cruising in Houston 7-0 in the 7th.
Sullivan takes a strike. The Rockies have beaten the Phillies 8-3. So the Rockies will maintain the wild card lead for another day. They started the day a half game up on the Giants. 1-1 to Sullivan with David Wright on deck. Ryan Stokes getting ready to pitch the 10th if there is one. 1-2 to Sullivan.
He's got Mr. Hamill for Colorado. He struggled here, but got it going in Philadelphia.
Nice bounce back performance. Jamie Moyer took the loss for the Phillies. He's now 10-8. Curveball that just missed. 2-2 to Sullivan. And another curve. That one misses. 3-2. Into right field. Right there is Ankiel. Almost misplayed it, but stays with it for the second out.
They recovered nicely.
So now David Wright will back with 2 out and nobody on. David 2 for 3 and a walk tonight. Curveball misses high for ball 1. Two and out. Well, you've got Baroa in the on-deck circle, so if you're Kyle McClellan, you can't possibly be throwing one down the middle here.
That's why you saw first pitch curveball, second pitch slider. Probably see another slider.
Oh, it's been all breaking stuff. You better be careful. If he gets that over the, leave that over the middle down. David can launch on it.
He takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 2-2.
He
was interesting right there. Molina pointed down to McClellan. We need this ball in the dirt. He hung it over the middle, and then Molina went to his head. He pointed at his head. Let's go. Start thinking.
It's just a pitch that you can make a mistake with.
Yeah. Got to bounce it here. 2-2. With Baroa on deck.
And David takes outside a slider, 3-2. Well, again, Baroa in the game because of Castillo's injury. You could back Tatis for, but it looks like Jerry's choosing not to.
Well, that would leave him with one bench man left in Schneider. And you don't know how long this game's going to go.
Well, then you're all the better to try and win it right now.
Well, if you get David hits a double or gets in scoring position.
Well, he walks, and so the Mets have the potential winning run aboard, and Baroa is going to stay in at bat.
And I agree. For what it's worth.
Well, Baroa had a hit coming off the bench in the middle of a big rally in front of Pagan's grand slam on Saturday night. Also had a 2-run double in that day-night doubleheader win over the Rockies. So he's had a couple of hits in big spots. See what he can do here against McClellan.
And the corner infielders guarding the line for the Cardinals.
And the catcher Molina almost negates the stolen base, as we've seen so far.
You do not want to give a double down the line. That's ball game over.
So they're playing much deeper than they normally would against a guy like Baroa.
Yeah, and you notice that Molina went out and had a little chat with McClellan. He said, "Listen, the right's got over 20 stolen bases. Keep him close. Give me a chance to throw him out."
Yeah, Baroa takes ball one. Fastball from McClellan to start him off. Well, Joel Pinheiro is still unbeaten against the Mets. Cardinals got him off the hook tonight despite giving up 7 runs and 11 hits in 5 innings. 1-1 to Baroa.
The ultimate spit that bit, right?
One and two. The Cubs have won their game. They beat the Reds 6-3. So the Cardinals need to win to stay percentage points behind the Cubs.
Cubs are having some issues, though, at the end of games, aren't they? Greg has struggled. He's been given a 2-day pass to get his head back together. Marmol has taken over the closing duties.
And Marmol hasn't had a great season.
He's walked the ballpark.
Gets around. He's the man with the great slider that he can never throw for a strike. So guys just do not swing at it.
Now the 1-2. And Baroa watches low and away. 2-2. Baroa trying to get aboard. Daniel Murphy would have a chance to get that winning run home. Mets have been down, they've been up, they've been down. And now tied at the bottom of the ninth. Baroa, who's played on both sides of town this year, giving a good accounting of himself here with 2 out of the ninth. Taps one right back to McClellan, but it rolls behind him, and everybody is safe. McClellan unable to handle it cleanly. It's an infield hit for Baroa, and now the Mets are a hit away from a win.
Well, LaRusso, you can see the ball hit softly at the end of the bat, completely full. He lets it go. Innings over. Now they got Trevor Miller up. They've had him up the lefty.
McClellan retired the first 2. Walk David Wright. Now the infield single by Baroa. Don't forget, as soon as we're done here, we'll take you right to Lincoln Mercury Post-Game Live. All of today's highlights, interviews, jury's post-game reactions. Lincoln Mercury Post-Game Live right after today's game and after all 162 Met games, only on SNY.
Well, La Russa had Trevor Miller up before and let Wellemeyer go after Jeremy Reed, the left-hander who was pinch hitting, and again letting the right-handed McClellan face the left-handed Murphy with 2 outs in this situation.
And again, that outfield defense. Look at Matt Holliday's like gonna put a brown patch in that outfield. He should get more over in the gap. Murph goes the other way so well. You've got the center fielder Rasmus playing basically straight up. Big gap in left center for Murph.
Potential winning run at second and 2 out. And Murphy swings and misses at a first pitch slider, 0-1.
And a good one. Not a strike. Tough one to lay off.
Late break. Almost like Murph recognized that as a fastball.
Wright being shadowed by Lugo, so he can't get too far off the bat.
That's good. That only helps Murphy. Opens that hole.
Pulled foul, and now it's 0-2.
2 in a row. 2 sliders in good spots. Not much a hitter can do with that, Ronnie.
Mets' last walk-off victory came on May the 29th against the Florida Marlins. It's been more than 2 months since the Mets have been able to pound each other after a walk-off win. A long time. Now Murphy in a 2-strike hole. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Molina makes the toss down to first, and we're going to extra innings at Citi Field. McClellan works his way out of a 9th inning jam by striking out Murphy, and on we go to the 10th, all tied up at 7. They get 4 and 5 in extra inning games this year. Brian Stokes on to pitch the 10th inning for New York.
Stokes appeared in yesterday's ball game, pitched an inning and a third with 1 strikeout, no runs in his 44th game of the year.
Threw only 11 pitches to retire 4 batters yesterday. Yadier Molina, Rick Ankiel, Julio Lugo, the 3 scheduled hitters for the Cardinals in the 10th. After St. Louis rallied for 2 in the 9th off Francisco Rodriguez. A-Rod suffering his 4th blown save of the year. And now we're in the 10th. Cardinals are just 3 and 4 in extra innings this year.
You know, all blown saves hurt, but this one really hurt, you know. Well, Tana with a real solid game, some real good offense by the Mets coming back.
Well, the only way to redeem it is a victory.
You're right.
It'd be a very tough loss.
Stuff fell on the field, and now it's been cleaned off, and now we can get the 10th inning started. Stokes facing Molina, who's 1 for 4 on the night. And he grounds grounds one down to Murphy. Stays with the hop as it comes up on him. And the 3-1 putout is the first down of the 10th. And Molina running no harder to first base in the 10th inning than he did in the 2nd inning. It's a very interesting question, isn't it? Your catcher who plays every day, do you give him a pass on running balls out? I mean, maybe he just needs a few more days off.
But you can't afford to, because the disparity between Molina and LaRue, and I guess this is going to be critical of LaRue. I'm not trying to, Jason. You know, it's just that Molina is such a good player and an important player. Does so many things to help your team win every day. That being said, you know, goes at his own pace when he hits the ball for an out or on the ground. I don't know. It's a hard one. You know, you want everyone to be on the same page, but sometimes some aren't. As Jerry comes out.
Well, with Rick Ankiel coming up, Jerry's going to make a pitching change and bring in Pedro Feliciano. So Stokes throws one pitch, gets it out, and now will take his exit. And Feliciano will come in to try and get the tough left-hand hitter Ankiel. 7-7 ball game in the 10th. This is Called to the Bullpen, brought to you by Lincoln Mercury.
Game got 2 outs. Here to face the tough Ankiel.
Ankiel a single and a double. His double started the 9th inning rally for the Cardinals, and he swings and misses at the fastball. 0-1.
Well, Ankiel, I said earlier, cannot lay off that high up and in fastball. It's a pitch he needs to lay off. He can't handle it.
Got a right-hand hitter, Julio Lugo, on deck, and the Mets keep the bullpen busy. Ankiel shoots one foul, and it's 0-2. Johan Santana went the first 8, allowed 5 runs and 9 hits, but also had a 2-run double, made a couple of tremendous defensive plays. And Sean Green up in the bullpen. That's at a 7-5 lead going to the 9th, but Francisco Rodriguez could not hold it. Little tapper past the mound, tough play. In comes Cora, sidearm toss, and it gets away. And Keel scrambling back to first base as Cora runs it down. And the Cardinals have a man on in the 10th. It's going to be scored an infield hit.
Well, let's take a look here. 2 hands. And the throw, tough chance for Murph there.
That's got to be a throwing error.
Yep.
And what's interesting here is that Ankiel never hit the base. If he had hit the base, he could have proceeded to second base. But since he missed it, he had to go back to retouch the bag.
And he realized that he was scrambling back as Cora ran after that ball. Well, they scored an infield hit, but I mean, that's a play the Cora should have made. So 1 out and 1 on. Now Lugo, who drove in a run with a double in the 9th, his second double of the night.
Well, watch the McKay here. He's telling him, get back, touch the base.
People say first base coaches don't do anything. There's Johnny on the spot. Lugo takes a fastball for a strike, 1-1.
I honestly thought he was telling him to go, Dave McKay, but I think you guys are probably. When I first saw it, I thought he was telling Ankiel, go, go, go. And Ankiel's like, well, wait a minute, I gotta go back and touch first.
One and one to Lugo. And he lines one into right field for a base hit. And Keel goes to second and pulls in there. And now the go-ahead run in scoring position with one out.
Boy, has Lugo found a little rebirth here with the Cardinals, Ronnie?
Wow. Third hit of the night for Lugo. So the 7 and 8 hitters, Ankiel and Lugo, each with 3-hit games.
That's just going the other way nicely. And you're not going to challenge Francoeur on that one. That Ankiel runs well. Ball hit too hard.
Now Colby Rasmus will come up. Rasmus came on as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, struck out, stayed in the game in center field. So a left-hand hitter for Feliciano to face here, and another lefty on deck in Schumacher. And Rasmus takes ball one.
And that's the pitch that Ankiel didn't lay off of. That pitch up and in.
The Cardinals now with 14 hits. And that cutter misses inside. It's 2-0.
Well, Feliciano in danger here with one out, 2-0 count. Has not allowed a run at Citi Field this season.
Or ever.
That's right. I forgot.
Oh boy.
Off the corner, and it's 3-0. A walk would load the bases for Schumacher. Cardinals were down 7-4 going to the 8th. They got a home run from Pujols and then 2 runs in the 9th. And now trying to grab the lead in the 10th. 3-0 to Rasmus. And he takes ball 4. Feliciano walks the left-hand hitter. And now the bases are loaded with one out. Well, Feliciano got a bad break against his first hitter. And Keel with a slow roller that got scored an infield hit. But Lugo with a hard hit single, and now the most unlikely thing, the 4-pitch walk to the left-hand hitter.
Which brings up Schumacher, who had the best at bat of the night.
Schumacher drove in the tying run with a base hit against K-Rod in the 9th inning.
And you see the infield deep defense in at the corners. They're going to play for 2 at the middle infield positions.
Schumacher 1 for 5 on the night. Bases loaded, 1 out, 10th inning. And he takes below the knees, ball 1.
Boy, oh boy, this is a pitch right here. Just want to play it in the left field.
He's only grounded into 3 double plays so far this year.
And Keel, Lugo, and Rasmus, the base runners, with 1 out. Feliciano painted right into a corner. And a cut and a miss at a fastball, 1-1.
Boy, he's way tardy on that one. Wants to be away, missed on the other side of the plate and just threw it by him.
Those left-handed hitters never seem to have a good swing at that pitch because it's a pitch they don't usually see from a left-handed relief pitcher. Usually most pitches are away and the slider is away.
Well, a lot of left-handers have trouble throwing inside strikes to lefties when I found that out. The ones that got lefties out were the ones that could.
One way or another, this will be Feliciano's last batter. You got DeRosa and Pujols, right-hand hitters to follow. And Green up in the pen. Schumacher takes a strike. Good fastball by Feliciano, and now it's 1-2.
Oh, good call there you got from Jim Joyce.
Well, it got the black.
Yes, it did. Right off that corner.
Nope, now you got to shorten up here if you're the hitter.
Feliciano fighting his way back. Ahead on Schumacher, 1-2. He struck him out. There's a huge strikeout for Pedro Feliciano. 2 out of the inning. And now it'll be on Sean Green to get Mark DeRosa.
Well, got to put the ball in play there. I know it's easier said than done.
So Feliciano gives up 2 hits and a walk, but gets 1 huge out. Now Sean Green comes on to try and put out the fire.
And a darn good hitter in DeRosa.
And Keel the go-ahead run at third, Lugo at second, and Rasmus at first.
Well, the most important pitch in this at bat right now is strike 1.
DeRosa's gone 0 for 5 tonight, but he's 3 for 4 in his career against Green. That's what first batters have done against Green. A .365 on base percentage. That's not great. Not for Green.
Like a first pitch slider if I'm Green.
And he hit him, and the Cardinals take the lead. Sean Green's first pitch hits Mark DeRosa to force him the lead run. Ankiel scores, and it's 8-7 St. Louis.
Oh my.
Green, who lost a game earlier on this homestand by throwing a wild pitch, now gives the Cardinals the lead by hitting a batter with his first pitch.
And look who's coming up.
Unbelievable. Now Pujols, who's already singled, doubled, homered, and walked tonight. And now the Cardinals have a chance to put this game away. And Pujols takes a fastball for a strike. The run is charged to Pedro Feliciano. He's now on the hook. Cardinals were down 7-4 going to the 8th. They now lead it 8-7 in the 10th. And Pujols takes a rip at the slider, 0-2. Ripped toward the left field corner, but it's hooking foul.
You can waste a pitch.
Well, for a guy who's already thrown a wild pitch to lose a game, he might be concerned about bouncing one. How can Jerry do anything but shake his head?
That said it all right there.
Pujols hits it deep to left center field. Going back is Pagan near the wall. It's out of here. Pujols puts it away with a grand slam. His second home run of the night. His 36th of the year. 12-7 St. Louis. His 11th career grand slam. It came on an 0-2 pitch.
Hanging slider. Boy, oh boy. 4 for 5, 2 home runs, 3 runs scored.
He was slumping when the night began. Holiday thrown out by Baroa. The inning is over. Pujols with his 5th grand slam this season. His 2nd home run tonight. And it puts the cap on a 5-run 10th inning for the St. Louis Cardinals. And what looked like it might be a net victory has come crashing down. 12-7 St. Louis in the 10th. After Albert Pujols' grand slam opened up a 5-run lead for St. Louis.
Well, it's very interesting. Franklin coming out of spring training. Jason Mott was supposed to be the closer. Tried to give it to everyone else but Franklin because they loved him in that setup spot. But he has taken the job and has run with it. 24 saves and 26 opportunities.
Well, Albert Pujols, with his 5th grand slam of the season, has tied the National League record set by Ernie Banks back in 1955. There have been 2 players hit 6 grand slams in the season, both in the American League. Don Mattingly did it in '87, and Travis Hafner did it in 2006. And Pujols has a lot of season left to try and get there. Jeff Francoeur will lead off the bottom of the 10th inning. What a deflating game for the Mets.
Absolutely.
They fought back and gave Santana a lead. They had K-Rod in for a rare save opportunity in the 9th inning. Unable to save it. And then in the 10th, playing mix and match with the bullpen, Sean Green comes in and with his first pitch hits a batter to bring in the lead run, and then Pujols hits the grand slam. Francoeur thrown out by Schumacher, 1 away. And add to all of that, Luis Castillo falling down the dugout steps, spraining his ankle and being forced to leave the game and out for who knows how long. Unbelievable. Here's Alex Cora, who's 2 for 4 on the night. Drove in a run back in the 5th. And Franklin throws a strike. Ryan Franklin was an all-star this year for the Cardinals. He has had a tremendous season. As for Sean Green, it's been a roller coaster. Chopped out to short. Lugo in to grab it. 2 out. The Mets began this homestand winning the first 3 from Colorado. Dropped the last game of that series and then 3 out of 4 to Arizona. And unless they have an enormous rally in them right now, they'll be fighting tomorrow for a 500 homestand after that great start.
Well, we were saying that maybe that took some incredible wind out of their sails, but maybe the argument is they were already paddling.
Well, this will put them 9 games back in the wild card with the Colorado Rockies winning tonight, the Giants winning 8-0 in Houston.
Low bridge Fernando Tatis in the on deck circle. Tatis hoping for an at-bat if Santos could keep it going. Right into your living room.
Catcher Molina still blocking pitches like it was the second inning.
One and 2 to Santos. Fouled away. Mets had a chance to add to their lead in the 8th inning when Santos hit a pop fly single to right, and the Mets had first and third. But Todd Wellemeyer, after a long battle, got Jeremy Reed to ground out. That kept it a 7-5 game and gave the Cardinals a chance, which they took full advantage of. The Cardinals have scored 8 runs in the last 3 innings. 1-2. Bounce foul by Santos. Tomorrow, Jonathan Neese, who's had 2 nice starts to begin his latest stint in the big leagues. Last one didn't finish well, but he certainly pitched well enough after the excellent outing in Houston. And he will go against Kyle Loesch tomorrow in a noontime start. And then the Mets head off to San Diego. 1-2 to Santos. Omier hanging in there. What's so deflating about a game like this for this team is you got your ace on the mound. You generate offense. You show heart. You come from behind against a good team and against a pitcher who had owned you. And you still can't secure the win. Santos tries to check. He did not swing, and the game continues.
Close one. I thought he held up.
Still, you want to run first and ask Dennis to play just in case. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Santos. Up the middle. And Santos has his second hit. And that'll keep the Mets alive for one more batter.
Nice at-bat by Omier. Catching 10 tough innings. Ups and downs behind that plate. And still takes a nice at-bat here in the 10th.
So now Tatis will pinch hit. Batting for Sean Green. Fernando popped up as a pinch hitter last night. Mets now have 14 hits in the game. The Cardinals have 15. The Cardinals with 3 home runs, including a pair from Pujols. The last one a grand slam. Tatis hits a rocket to center field, over the head of Rasmus into the wall. Santos goes to third. He'll be held up there, and Fernando Tatis has a pinch hit double. So the Mets with their backs firmly against the wall with 2 out of the 10th, with back-to-back base hits from Santos and Tatis.
Well, Rasmus froze on this ball and I think moved in, got a terrible jump. This ball's ripped, by the way. High fastball. But Rasmus had a terrible read, got over his head. Hey, seen stranger things happen.
So Tatis, the former Cardinal, keeps it alive with a double. And now Angel Pagan, who's got 1 for 3 tonight with a sacrifice fly back in the second inning. And Angel takes a slider low and inside, 1-0. Santos at third and Tatis at second with 2 out. If Pagan can keep it going, Corey Sullivan would be next.
Well, with a 12 noon game tomorrow, the team that wins this game has got a big lift going into tomorrow's game. The losing side's got an early night to sleep and come to the yard. And
Pagan rips one to right field, and Keel in front of it, and the ball game is over. A most disheartening loss for the New York Mets. They had a 7-4 lead going to the 8th, 7-5 going to the 9th. But the Cardinals tie it in the 9th and win it with 5 in the 10th, capped by Pujols.